Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Hope you had a fantastic week and appreciate you joining us. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, just know that we got you covered all 3 hours. Posted upon the conclusion of the show, both to iTunes and our own audio vault. You can always email us if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. Use the WTSM app for your mobile devices. And email JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Hello, YouTubers. Hope this finds you doing well, along with you too, Periscopers. It's a good time, man. It's a real good time. We got the big baseball game tomorrow night, Florida State and Florida over in Jacksonville. Knowles take their first ACC series.
I'm just laughing. I'm sorry. I'm thankful that 2000 was cleared. I wouldn't like it to be 1999 with having to go play the Gators, you know, and just the extra pressure and the way it's kind of gone in the regular season series of late. It's good that we got that done.
Yeah, we're good, man. We're good. And then also, by the way, I would know that Florida State obviously gets a transfer over the weekend. We'll talk about that as well. We'll also note that Florida State's basketball team just keeps on winning. And, you know, I just, with the conference tournaments ending as they are now, this week is a fun week. You get to sit back. Every night you go home, there's another game worth your time and with a lot on the line. And that's a lot of fun to sit back and watch, and I'll do that as well. I do know this. You know, I said on Friday or Thursday, I think it was, Tom, that I really wasn't all that concerned with what was going to happen in the Florida State Wake game. But, you know, I lied. I can't help it. It started, and I started watching it, and then, you know, you're invested. You're invested. But it, not in the same way you were in games that truly would have an impact, but you keep thinking about that seed line. You keep thinking about where they could get to. And I know the way Leonard is. He wants to win. Now, he's going to do it a little bit different with the minutes and everything else. But at the end of the day, you know, this team, like they have so many times before, comes from behind, and it's predictable. It really is. I mean, there's something to the depth, obviously, especially against a bottom feeder like Wake. But also just they've created a real competitive depth. You know, I think that's what's interesting is if you watch a Vassell or a Gray, kids like that, you see that they know that this is valuable to future playing time. The way they play, or at least the focus with which they play, performances go up and down. It's going to happen when you're not as experienced as some of the other guys, but you can see how locked in they are, and you can see how much it matters to them.
Well, yeah, it was line 2, so to speak, that got us going on Saturday.
Yeah, and I kind of thought it might be, too.
Who was that? Was that Corey Alexander that was on the Okay.
He usually is, yes.
Yeah, with Tom Wormy from Raycom. It's the final regular season game. They couldn't say that enough, obviously. But
rest in peace, Raycom.
I don't know. Rest in peace, yes.
Standard Def and Hogwood. No more.
No more. Well, one of those, unfortunately, was gone before
Gone
Raycom.
Before the end of the Raycom era.
I mean, you know. I hope they actually, seriously, because I enjoy what they do with the ACC tournament. It's way better than ESPN's presentation of it. I hope there's a salute to the Hogger, because there certainly wasn't in that broadcast.
No,
and they mentioned every single person in Raycom history.
But not him.
But not Hogwood.
He's
what
the only
hell?
guy that matters.
I agree, 100%. But Corey was talking at length about how they didn't care to be there, the starters. I'm like, man, I don't know that that's true. You could be flat and still want to be there, but it's just you don't have the juices going the same way you do for a Tuesday night against Virginia Tech. At any rate, though, it was that second group that came in, righted the ship. I think it was 14-2 early or whatever it was, and 12-4 maybe. I'm dyslexic. We rally all the way back, and it was really fun to watch that second half because you're down 7, you're down 10, then you're down 4 and 7, and then the moment we take the lead, we're like instantly up 12. It was incredible how fast that happened.
Once it got going and, you know, they began to – you see this kind of avalanche effect. I've talked about it before where they get a few things going, and usually it's at the rim. It's not always a three. A lot of times it's at the rim. They get a couple of baskets in the lane, usually a dunk somewhere in there off of a steal, something in transition, and the next thing you know, it gets really rolling. And you can sense the other team is it's a barrage. They're trying to get their arms up. It's crazy. Before you know it, it's an 8-2 run. It's a 12-0 run. It's something of that extent. And that's really where watching this team can be fun and maddening because as good as they are, and they are really good, you don't do what they did. You and I were having fun today. Like in the office here, we have a schedule up with the entirety of Florida State's basketball schedule, and we'll write down the W's and L's as the season goes along. We do it for every major team and that we have certainly on the airwaves or that we cover. And so there's a Braves one in there, and there's something for everybody. But I went in today because we were lagging behind. And I was like, "Oh, Tom." And I grabbed the pen, WWWW for the last. And it's just crazy when you look at the last 13 games. It's just, little things get lost in the shuffle of a foregone conclusion, meaning you're already set as the 4 seed in the ACC tournament before this game is played. But by winning that game, you finish the season on the road with a winning record. These are all things you cannot take for granted. I mean, Florida State doesn't in the ACC. Not too many teams do. The upper echelon, you're used to seeing Carolina or Virginia or Duke do it, but not that many teams do. And so you got to appreciate it. And Florida State finished 5-4 on the road this year.
A little thing that I really appreciate in Ham 2.0 basketball is it's hard not to think about in the week of the ACC tournament, the run we had in 2012 in Atlanta and how amazing that was. And even though it's not the regular season title, we had to go through the Blue Bloods to get it done, and we did. That team was so different. The program was so different than it is now. When we get past the timeline off a turnover, the ball doesn't touch the court.
No, it's so quick.
I mean, there was a time when that was new, and it's not new anymore, but I step back in a week like this, and I think about 2012, where anytime they try to go fast, it's a turnover in the 7th row. They just couldn't. There was no way they could comfortably get to 4th gear. It was like my old car before I went to see my friends at Kraft Nissan.
There you go, baby.
You get over a certain speed, and the thing just starts shaking. But not this group.
Well, no, and if they challenge you, if you don't get back, you're going to get dunked on. It's an oop. I mean, here somebody's going to get up to the rim, so you got to get back.
They're playing volleyball with it down the court.
It's really quick. Well, today's a good day for perspective, too, with Coach Martin getting his 2000th victory. There's just a lot for us to reflect on as we get into some stuff now that you get locked in with. Like I said, the baseball, is playing Florida, and, you kind of go through all this, and we've got ACC tournament week. You're getting locked in now with the conference tournaments and titles on the line throughout the week. And, Florida State set the program record for the most ACC wins in a season. And, the win itself is over Wake, so you don't get bogged down in the numbers from the Wake win. It's just another win, but it's the 13th win in ACC play. And they had, again, their first winning road record in the ACC since 2011-2012. And, that came with an 18-game schedule. They had a higher winning percentage in 93 and as well as 2012 prior to the expansion to the 18-game league schedule. But, when you look at this thing now, just to be amongst the upper echelon, the separation between the top 3 teams is pretty obvious. We all know what Virginia, North Carolina, and Duke are. And so, okay, you're not going to be part of that. I got you. But then from there, you kind of look at where we fit in with Florida State and Virginia Tech. And then I suppose just behind that group of Syracuse and Louisville, just nice not to be stuck in a situation like you find NC State, Clemson, and then the rest of the bottom feeders, of which there's a sizable grouping.
Well, if you get a rebound and an inbounds play doesn't go in the basket, who knows where we'd be in the standings. I'm sure you lose a game you don't expect to lose, or that we have a W on the schedule now. I don't know that you lose that Monday against Pitt. I don't know that you have a hangover against Boston College. It's a lot easier to get on a plane and after a win like that. But all I'm saying is that's the margin between catching Duke and not catching Duke at 3rd place.
Well, it's crazy to think about. You could have finished 3rd place if that ball doesn't drop, if you're able to get a stop, if you're able to procure a rebound, like you said. Yeah. The only thing is about that game, and I do it sometimes too because I want everything for this team and this program, I also know that sometimes those are the things that create the character that we now see revealed week in and week out, because they had to overcome that slow start. They had to overcome the hangover and the injuries. And in some ways, that certainly toughened this group and led them to a place where we've seen a lot of comeback wins, and we've seen a lot of mental and physical toughness, a lot of fortitude in this group here.
Well, if you look at the schedule and you see obviously that 1-4 start that seems like so long ago, and you think about that we have 13 conference wins, which sets a program record for the most conference wins in a single season. In order to have accomplished that feat, we needed to win 12 out of 13 games. And if you went back to the show the day after we start 1-4 in conference and you said, not only is this team going to make the tournament, they're going to set the record for most wins, ACC wins in a single season by winning 12 out of their next 13 games in conference.
Oh, yeah.
And you knew that was going to happen. You were Cameron Damas, and you took to the airwaves with it. People would have turned the radio off. They said, this guy's finally lost it. He's gone 700 club. He's nuts.
Well, yeah, they would have if I had said 12 or 13. But we didn't. I will say this. We looked at it two ways at the time, and I think both were proper. We looked at a team that had us on the verge of panicking because of injury more than anything else. It's around that time that you begin to find out the extent to which your key players are hurt. You know that Trent Forrest is only going to be at 60%, maybe 70% here and there for the remainder of the season as you find out that he needs off-season surgery. Then you find out that Kofor's nowhere close in his attempt to get back to full strength, nowhere close to being 100%. And you see it, and you realize that there are these moments, and they come and go, but long patches of play in which he's really a non-impact on the floor, which is not who he is because he can defend all five positions. And then you see that, PJ Savoy is not the upward trend towards the end of last year and into the ACC tournament and into the NCAA tournament, it didn't carry over. You didn't see him becoming that and then some, right? Then you find out that Terrence Mann is dealing with a heel situation and a guy that doesn't look nearly as explosive. And so at that time, I pulled the red button out. And I just said, hey, I can see it. It's over there. I can see a time where if this doesn't start to show, if we don't see an uptick in performance from those guys, then this is going to be a season of what could have been. This is going to be about we had all of this talent returning, all of this experience returning, lofty expectations coming off an Elite Eight run, and it's just not going to be because, well, in the offseason you lose a key defender. Then you find out that the core, the nucleus of this team has got three guys that are really beat up, and they're not going to be able to perform. And so we had the red button out. And then I start winning some games, which is also something we said was entirely possible because I said to you and everybody that would listen, well, we're not going to write them off. They're tough. They've already proven they're tough. They're mentally and physically tough. Let's just see if they can do it. Maybe get a win here or there, and then you start to build some confidence. Now, could I have guessed that they'd win 12 of 13? No. But did I think they were capable of rattling off a 5 spot, 6 of 7? I did. I did think that. And we looked at the schedule. We looked ahead to the games that we thought, all right, this is a place to make hay here. You got to get these because there's going to be some tougher ones down the road. And it turned out to be that way. And they did get healthier. And Trent learned how to play with his injury and be a little bit more effective, a little bit different kind of player. And I'm not real sure Phil ever really gained anything close to what he was a year ago, but he was able to play through a lot of this. And then obviously Terrence Mann healed up, and he became a difference maker. Kabengele emerged as a star, 6th man of the year. And then you find out that, a guy that maybe we didn't give enough credit to was going to be a big part of this run, and he deserves a lot of credit today. Koumadje played really well in the second half of the season. There's just no way to ignore the minutes, meaningful minutes he gave us, because there were long periods of time in his career here where you thought, man, we need a whole lot less of him on the floor, And I'll be honest with you, we had 3 or 4 games in this run where if he hadn't been out there, he was kind of the catalyst for some of this.
Well, I think it's pretty fundamental whether or not he's going to be an impact player when you look at, the size of the opponent.
Yeah.
And if there is a disparity, well, the efficiency of those minutes, the efficiency of 10 or 12 minutes on the court is going to be through the roof. And that's where you hope we match up in the first round of the NCAA tournament with a team that has that deficiency where, Koumadje's numbers are just through the roof. And then here comes Fee. I was like, oh, okay, we're going to sit him 4 for 4 with 4 dunks, a few rebounds, a couple of free throws, which he's gotten better at too. And we're going to roll 25 out there. The ACC 6th man of the year, as he was awarded today, Kabengele. And that's what we're going to throw at you on the way to a second round game where hopefully, we can If we need to shrink the rotation, we will. But this is the good news time of the year. We get through the Wake Forest game. We'll see how much Leonard plays, Trent Forrest specifically, on Thursday, which that tip-off is going to be right around showtime. It's 2:30, 3 o'clock is when we're playing that game against likely Virginia Tech. But
yeah, he's going to play him.
But Trent, it's just a matter of how many. Is it 20 or 30 minutes? Do you want to get Nichols in there, or do you want to let Trent go and be a leader like he is? But when he gets rest, this year we've seen it. That first game back, when he gets a lot of rest, he's different. He is much more explosive.
Yeah, he has more of a hop. Yeah, he does. And, by and large, again, they're in a fine position because you probably – I'm not entirely certain. We'll see how the rest of this plays out around the country. But I think Florida State is looking more and more like you can almost, with Penn, write them as a 4. If you look at all of the sites and all of the projections, they're coming in more and more like a 4. And that makes sense given that they won 12 of 13 ACC games. You just don't do that if you're not a consistently good basketball team. And so they're finally getting their just due. Leonard Hamilton, unfortunately, finished 4th in the voting for ACC Coach of the Year. I'm not here to say he has to win that award necessarily. I get the why Buzz Williams would be looked upon the way he was, and I certainly have no problem with Tony Bennett because that is very much a Virginia style of play and his style of play. That's what he coaches, right? It's different, and they don't have the same access to, say, the players that North Carolina and Duke do. So this is a guy who's certainly created a niche within the conference and plays a certain way.
And all those different players from that 1-seed team last year. The turnover was incredible. He had nobody coming back at all. No guys whatsoever.
But what I would say, if you end up for a tie for the conference championship, regular season championship, you're going to get consideration. I struggle to give, it's a little bit of what happened with Jimbo Fisher during a stretch of dominance in the ACC football-wise. He couldn't win the award for whatever reason, and the reason was, he has too many good players, so you better win that many games. Well, I look at North Carolina and Duke every year and say the same thing. And that's not fair, just like it wasn't fair to Jimbo. I don't really know how you're going to discern that one.
Well, somehow Roy finished ahead of Leonard in the votes.
Yeah, Carolina has had a season, a really good one, as they should, with all those really, really good players. But that's the balancing act. When is it? What does a guy got to do to warrant getting that award over a blue blood who does what he should do with the elite talent he's able to procure?
If you want to give it to Bennett, fine, but the Buzz thing, too, rubs me the wrong way. Who finished ahead of whom in the standings? What are we doing here?
They're going to argue that they lost their point guard for a lot of games.
They had injuries.
They had major injuries there, and
So did we. Kofor was gone for the first half of the season, and Trent Forrest has been an issue for how many months now?
Yeah, I'm with you that if you want to say that Buzz and Leonard tie, okay.
I'll go with the tiebreaker for a head-to-head game that took place before the vote.
Yeah, but I would also argue that if we'd played that game at Virginia Tech, I think we might have lost that game.
It's true.
So
he would have held the tiebreaker at that point.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I think, again, home court kind of decided that to some extent. I don't have a problem with Buzz getting praise as long as it's commiserate to what Hamilton gets. And you're right. It's sometimes a little frustrating there. He finishes 4th with a team that ends up going 25-6, wins 13 games in the conference, 13-5, procures a double bye and a 4 seed. Did win the head-to-head. Yeah, it's
But sure, their net rankings are better than ours too.
12th, and we're 19th. Of course, their win over Duke is the reason for that, and our 2 losses being, I guess, an albatross in terms of the Pitt BC game.
It must count for so much more than Virginia Tech's losses, which they're more than we have,
Virginia Tech had a good year. I got no problem with Virginia Tech. Virginia obviously held off Louisville. They win over the weekend. North Carolina beats Duke, and they look like clearly the better team at this point. Virginia Tech goes on a 32-6 run at one point against Miami, winning 84-70 on Friday night. Clemson beat Syracuse 67-55 at the Little John, keeping their NCAA hopes alive.
Huge win.
Yeah, they had to happen. NC State got a big road win I say it's a big road win. Just they have to get wins, and they ended up winning big, as you should, against Boston College. We didn't. 73-47, they rout them. And so you have that. And then, finally, it doesn't really matter. But Pitt did end their 13-game losing streak. I like knowing, by the way, that we weren't their last win of the damn season. I mean,
they had a week. They beat Louisville, and they beat us. That's quite a week. But
they had a week.
Outside of that.
So Tuesday in Charlotte, it begins. The bottom 6 teams matching up in the opening round. 3 winners advance to face seeds 5 through 7 the next day, while we sit back and sip on a tea and do nothing and just watch it all play out, baby, along with the 8-9 matchup. The 4 winners Wednesday move into the Thursday quarterfinals to face the top 4 seeds. Hey, we're in there with the semifinals on Friday night, the championship game Saturday night. For those of you making your way up to Charlotte, safe travels, have a good time. I've attended that event a few times. It's always a lot of fun.
They do a good job up there. It's usually pretty peaceful, too, because the big teams, Virginia, North Carolina, Duke, they know this is nice, but it's not about this. So you don't have that extra edge in the stands where people are starting fights and all that nonsense. But I also like that they move this thing to finish at Saturday night instead of Sunday afternoon. The extra day of rest to get back home and get prepared for the tournament. Very smart move instead of waiting to the last hour. I mean, remember, it would finish Selection Sunday, and then like 3 hours later, then you find out what seed you are. This is much nicer. I like this.
So, as Tom noted, for us, we get slotted Thursday mid-afternoon. It's the second game, quarterfinal, against either the 5-seed Virginia Tech or the 12-seed Miami. Rare moment in time you'll ever hear it on the Jeff Cameron Show, but I'll say, let's go Canes. Or the 13-seed Wake Forest, depending upon the results of the mid-afternoon games on Tuesday, Miami and Wake, and Wednesday, Virginia Tech and Miami, Wake Forest winner.
Who knows? Maybe if Miami beats Virginia Tech, then Virginia Tech's net ranking will go up to like 8 or 7 or something. Maybe it advances them upward.
Yeah. Jacksonville, by the way, on Thursday, March the 21st, under the pod system, the top 4 teams in each region are sent to the nearest of the 8 sites hosting the first and second rounds. And Jacksonville and Columbia, South Carolina, you and I have been to Columbia, South Carolina, no thanks, are the only 2 venues in the Southeast amongst the 8 arenas chosen to serve as the host for the round of 64, round of 32.
Yeah, we cannot escape San Jose in most people's brackets.
Seems to be that way. I'm fine with that.
It's Gonzaga and San Jose.
We did all right out there. I'll be okay with that. That's a lot of good. I mean, it's fine with me. Florida State baseball, obviously the transfer talk, and Florida State football. All of that forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived or are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and only can be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along on the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. Going on right now during Jeep Freedom Days. Only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. ST18J605 must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Napa know-how. Chase Elliott here letting you know that when you spend $25 at Napa this month, you get a free Chase Elliott racing hat. Need a set of brakes? How about a new battery? Both are hat-worthy. Replacing an air filter, then adding on wiper blades and headlamps just to break $25? That works too. Go get your free Chase Elliott hat today. Quality parts, helpful people, free hats. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 3/31/19.
The madness is coming to the corner pocket.
They're in trouble. Desperation. Yes!
Choose the place with Tallahassee's best TVs. The Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall. 8 50-inch crystal clear flat screens. You won't miss a second of the action. Corner Pocket's your headquarters for the most watched sporting event in America.
For the win! Good! A miracle!
Delicious food, the best drink specials. Connect to their free Wi-Fi and keep up with your bracket. From the opening tip to the cutting of the nets. Come see why Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Yes! Oh, my goodness!
Hendrick.
Want to know what power feels like? Come get behind the wheel of an all-new, completely redesigned 2019 Silverado 1500 from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy. So hurry in to shop our huge selection, over 100 in stock, at Tallahassee's Chevy Truck Headquarters, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy on West Tennessee or DaleJr.Chevy.com. Find new roads.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet, Tallahassee's hometown Chevy dealer.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less. Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
In addition to all of this, you got crazy money being thrown around in the NFL. Some would note that that's because there's a lot of cap space available throughout the league, and there aren't that many good players on the market, and people get overpaid. And that appears to be what's happening around the league right now, although I would argue that Landon Collins going to Washington is a fine move. But that is a eye-popping number. Former Giant star Landon Collins is signing, allegedly, we'll see, not official just yet, a 6-year deal for $84 million with Washington. Whew.
That's a lot to commit, and at first blush, it changes things drastically. Like, wow, Landon Collins is a great player, and then he signs with Washington. You say, oh, man, another terrible move for Washington. It's funny how that can change things.
Yeah, just in terms of the numbers, that is...
Yeah, so Honey Badger's out there, Earl Thomas is out there.
I mean, I like Landon Collins more than both, but
it's good news for them. Their agency's going, woohoo!
Yeah, my goodness. That does change the market. Yes, it does change the market a little bit for their guys. Whew, that is a ton of money.
At least we re-signed Donovan Smith, dude. It's okay.
Well, there wasn't much out there in that regard either. Yeah, there's all kinds of guys we're going to have to talk about here. Quan Alexander has signed with the 49ers. Looks like that's official now.
Big chunk of change there for him.
Well, if his knee's fine,
yeah,
then he's worth that because he's a real good football player. Looks like Humphreys may join him.
Yeah.
That one hurts a little bit because Jameis loves Humphreys, and they were simpatico. They had a thing. He always knew where he was going to be. Now the Bucs are obviously shopping DeSean Jackson, as they should. The problem is the rest of the league's kind of got the Bucs over a barrel there. Nobody suspects the Bucs would have him back under any set of circumstances, so they're not going to give you anything.
The way they're playing this, though, is a little frustrating. I wonder about how organized things truly are, because Jameis was on NFL Network this weekend.
Yes,
he did
was.
A 2 or 3 minute hit. It went okay. His people could stand to put him in a better situation. He didn't have all the answers. And I think he was a little bit surprised by the DeSean Jackson question, which is fine. It's a fair question. But that he has to come out and say, I hope he's back, and, DeSean is just emotional about, winning and losing and all that stuff. It tells me that the Bucs don't really know what they're going to do yet, because if he knew it was over and they were shopping him the way that the people in league circles are talking, he would just say, we'll see what happens and then move on. Instead of giving a 200-word answer, he'd give like a 15-word answer.
One thing I'll say about that, though, and it goes back to the same thing he did with his head coach, which I do appreciate, and it is a lesson learned. I mean, he has lots of them to learn, but he's learning them, and that is, as the unquestioned leader, as a franchise quarterback, no matter the situation, you really can't bash players on their way out the door or that you've had a feud with publicly. You can do so certainly privately, and, he's just not going to disparage a player in a setting like that, where I wish he would. Even though I know it's not what's best. I mean, part of me personally wishes he would because of the things Jackson has said, and the other part of me realizes that it's good that he didn't.
He kind of sort of did in, one of those indirect ways in talking about only the good things, but clearly he was talking about there's two sides to the equation. It's just the way that Light approached it at the Combine, too. I mean, this is why the reports are always tied to. It's not just that they're shopping him. They don't think they're going to get any bites. I mean, especially when Antonio Brown goes for a 3rd and a 5th. What the hell are you going to pull for DeSean Jackson?
Well, I would have liked to have packaged something and put an offer out there to maybe try to get Antonio Brown because, oh, by the way, that's not a lot to pay for Antonio Brown, a 3rd and a 5th. How about we give you DeSean Jackson?
Right, yeah, there you go.
And a 4th and a 5th.
I'll give you DeSean Jackson and a signed Ryan Fitzpatrick fake beard. Here you go.
I mean, I might have done it. All right, back to local news here. As for Florida State, we were waiting on a commitment from a quarterback, a grad transfer, something, especially since there are concerns with Jordan Travis about whether or not he'd get a waiver, and you needed somebody else in the now. I mean, I get Sims is coming next year, and I get that maybe you get a waiver with the kid from Western Michigan. Maybe a lot of things happen, Tom, but I wanted an experienced backup quarterback, somebody that could push James Blackman maybe if the circumstances are right, and that's exactly what they get in Alex Hornibrook from Wisconsin, who has played a lot of big-time football. Now, he's not great. That's the first thing I want to mention is that if you've watched Wisconsin and you've watched him in his career, and my guess is you have. I mean, it's not like Wisconsin is not a team that you tune into from time to time. They are a Power 5 team, and he was on that team 2 years ago that was really good. And that was his best year. He's an okay player. Too many interceptions, not terribly accurate.
3rd and long, we're probably running the ball.
Yeah, but there's no way, given the set of circumstances, that you would turn down a quarterback with his experience in big games. I mean, I think the game they lost to Ohio State was – they win that game or lose that game? 27-21 2 years ago? Was that the one? But he's played in big games. And so you do want a guy with that kind of experience. Smart kid, from everything I read, honor student, all that other stuff. So, his ability to come in, maybe quickly pick up the offense. At the very least, I feel like you have a quality backup quarterback that you got in a grad transfer by bringing in Alex Hornibrook. So that's good news. From a depth standpoint, that's very good news.
From a depth standpoint, I don't know how much he's going to push James unless he's like reborn in this system, and that's possible.
It is possible.
He keeps James from being able to win the job by playing awfully. He does that much.
Yeah, no, you got to go out and perform. Yeah, you want competition. I mean, again, Florida State didn't just bring in an elite quarterback. Let's just make that clear for the casual observer. They hear that guy's name and they think, well, that guy played at Power 5 conference, at Big Ten. He played for Wisconsin. They had a great season a couple years ago, and maybe he's our starting quarterback. Well, maybe, but it's unlikely. From what I've seen, I don't think that he beats out James Blackman. In fact, I really think that the chances of that happening are very, very slim. But I do think he can be a quality backup. I think what I said the other day on Seminole Headlines, we were talking about, getting a look at Jordan Travis or talking about the quarterback situation. And I said, look, let's just be honest here, fellas. If James Blackman gets hurt, the season's over. Whether Travis gets a waiver or not, the way we're talking about these guys right now,
yeah.
If Blackman gets hurt, the season's over.
Unless Cam Akers is just money.
Yes, he's not going to be that. So what I thought was you were one injury away from your season being off the rails, and it's already tenuous. We all know we're all anxiously awaiting this situation. But Nolan McDonald and Jordan Travis, even if he were eligible, and we don't know if he's going to get the waiver, these were not guys that were going to go on to carry you to 9-10 win seasons. So James needs to stay healthy, and they needed to find a quality backup, and I think they did.
The buzz around Jordan Travis was interesting, preseason, or should I say postseason, because Jimbo liked him and because Bryles liked him. So maybe there's still some upside there. The book's not closed on what he can or can't
freshman,
do.
I mean, yeah.
But the one thing I would say about those two, Rector and Travis, is I wonder if this move. The first thing I thought of yesterday when I saw he was on campus and he committed to Florida State, I was like, ooh, did we get bad news on the waiver applications that we didn't that the media doesn't know about, the public doesn't know about? And did they make a call at the last second to have him come in, or were we going to do this no matter what those waiver applications came back as? And we still don't know.
No, but here's what I would tell you. Sure, we don't. You're right. That part of it is up in the air. I would tell you this. You can't wait to get turned down.
Sure.
You got to, this is you taking a step forward here and being an aggressor. You've been caught with your pants down.
Yeah.
That can't happen. You can't imagine what that news would sound like if they would have come back and said the waiver's been denied. You got nothing.
Well,
and he didn't have an answer. I mean, this at least might speak to the plan.
That's plenty logical, right? What you're talking about. That either way you want to have him on campus. I just wonder if we actually, because we haven't had the track record of looking like we've had a plan. So I wonder if we've gotten bad news that we just don't publicly know about yet.
Well, that certainly would be an assumption with the way things have gone for Willie so far that, I understand you coming to, but I also would like to believe that they've learned lessons and they decided to be a little bit proactive instead of reactive.
Coach Kelly's on it. Don't you worry.
I'm just saying, let's be a little bit proactive here and say, guys, we may not get that waiver. Just a thought. What the hell are we going to do if they say no? Well, we can get this kid. He's not terrible. He's not great. But he's a good backup with a lot of experience.
Here's what actually was happening when Coach Kelly was in the end zone during practice, the open practices this week. He was texting. He was texting this young man in Wisconsin the way that Matt Damon was in The Departed. It was just, the phone was in his pocket, and he's like, tick, 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 tick. Remember, you don't need to bring a lunch when you're here on Saturday. Lunch will be served.
Oh, man. Well, it's a net good. It's good.
100%.
It's good that we got him. All right. So I prattled on so long about that. I got to take a break. We'll get more to it. It's a good thing we got 3 hours. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Looking for a new place to watch your favorite sporting events? Hobbit American Grill with 3 locations to choose from. Just show them your stub. That's right, your ticket stub from any local sporting event for $1 pints and $3 crafts. BOGO Mondays every Monday with 50% off specials. Like or follow on Facebook to get all the details. PS4 tourneys, trivia, karaoke, darts, and more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right, more watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Seminoles, it's 2019 and a new football season is amongst us. It's a new day, and we have an opportunity to build this program back to where it belongs, together. Every day we get one step faster, one rep stronger. The journey to the top includes you. We are one tribe together, and we remain unconquered. We need you in Doak Campbell Stadium this fall, and that begins by getting season tickets now. Visit us online at Seminoles.com or call 1-888-FSU-NOLE and get ready to hear
Touchdown, Florida State!
Very soon.
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway is currently hosting a soccer equipment donation drive for children in the Philippines. Through family and friend connections, the Corner Pocket has adopted the Baybay City Jaguars Football Club in the Philippines as their sponsored team. Youth and teen soccer equipment, new or used, can be dropped off from 11 a.m. through late night 7 days a week at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, located next to Earth Fair on the Parkway. Whether it is a pair of cleats, an old soccer ball, or any other equipment, anything and everything is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your consideration. From 97.9 ESPN Radio and the staff at the Corner Pocket.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening on this first day. Teams can negotiate with NFL free agents with any deals becoming official when the new league year starts on Wednesday. Raiders coming off the huge trade to acquire receiver Antonio Brown, adding former Patriots offensive tackle Trent Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting Trent Brown intends to sign a 4-year, $66 million contract with Oakland, including $36 million guaranteed. Deal has the highest average annual value ever for an offensive lineman, $16.5 million. 49ers intend to sign linebacker Quan Alexander, formerly of the Buccaneers, 4 years, $54 million, $27 million guaranteed. Eagles to sign former Jags defensive tackle Malik Jackson, 3 years, $30 million. Buccaneers actively shopping receiver Deshaun Jackson, a trade preferred for Tampa Bay, but some teams that ESPN's spoken to believe Jackson will be released rather than traded. And there are two reasons the Bucs are looking to move on from Jackson, believes ESPN's Booger McFarland.
Talk about the culture and then talk about the fit. The culture-wise, I don't know if a guy that's going to call out the quarterback and make a lot of noise is going to fit in the first year with Bruce Arians. When you're trying to figure out whether Jameis Winston can be your guy, then let's talk about X's and O's. Jameis Winston is not the most accurate deep ball thrower in the league. Where does Deshaun Jackson make his money? Down the field.
NBA Celtics forward Jason Tatum won't play tonight against the Clippers due to soreness in his right shoulder. NBA scoring leader James Harden and the Rockets go for their 9th consecutive win when they take on the Hornets tonight. Houston is 3rd in the West, a game up on Oklahoma City. Charlotte is a game back of Miami for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Kansas basketball coach Bill Self told reporters today guard LeGerald Vick will not rejoin the team this season. Vick, the Jayhawks' second leading scorer this year, took a leave of absence for personal matters early last month.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Willie Taggart happy with the offense. Said they were flying today, baby. You don't want to hear it. Well, I mean, it's better than him talking about the defense dominating.
I'm just laughing. Just putting the clicky pens and clipboards back in action, because at first my reaction was, oh, really? Wait a minute. I'm not falling for that again.
I know. Well, it's an interesting spring to say the least. It's funny to think that really nothing he says in these interviews is going to be enough to persuade skeptics and those still certainly reeling from last year's 5-7 season to buy in until they see a win on the football field in a different-looking product that's much more efficient and well-run, and I don't blame anybody for that viewpoint. I just don't. I get it. I'll still pay close attention, so will you. It's our job to do so. I'll be very interested to kind of glean new information and certainly parlay that into talking points when it's necessary, but at the same time, that guy that I'm referencing or that gal that I'm referencing, they're perfectly within their rights to think, yeah, well, we'll wait, man. We did a lot of this last year, a lot of investing last year.
Well, yeah, the difference is, I may be in wait-and-see mode like that fan, but I'm not going to look. I'm not going to see for myself what's going on in between now and then. It's not an excuse, so I don't have to go, study what's going on day to day as much as we can with the limited practice availability that the media has now, or hyper-focus on little nuances of the spring game to see how Clements deals with Briles, and then they deal in turn with the quarterbacks and the communication levels and the cons. I mean, all that stuff is going to be fun to dissect, but to attach expectations to it, nah, man, that's where I am in perfect line with that fan, which is we got to see it against Boise. We got to see it against Virginia week 3 and so on and so forth.
Really quickly over the weekend, it should be noted, Florida State got a 5-2 victory on Saturday, and it was important because it was Mike Martin's 2,000th victory. And I'll just say this as somebody who has had the good fortune of making my way over to Mike Martin Field, Dick Howser Stadium since 1991. I've been in attendance for a lot of those, and as was correctly pointed out by Ira Schafel in his column on warchant.com, many more have been coming for a lot longer. And they have he has a legion of fans. Sure, he has his detractors, but by and large, I think even the detractors would admit that Mike Martin has represented this university and that baseball program with nothing but class, dignity, and respect. And he's also won a gazillion games. Well, in fact, 2,000. But 2001 now. But he's won. 2000.
Yeah, we split the doubleheader. We actually needed a win, which is why I was saying.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm glad we didn't have to go for it against the Gators, man. You don't want to have to hear about that.
Yeah, I forgot. Sorry. But it's fun to think back on that. I think that's really what this was about, because everybody knew going into the season he was going to get to 2,000 wins, and fairly early in the season. Now they've come out like gangbusters. They win their first ACC series there. That's a good way to start conference play. Obviously, they've taken care of business out of conference. My goodness gracious! And this is as good a start as you could hope for, heading over to Jacksonville for that game against the Gators. But congratulations is what I wanted to say to Mike Martin, whom I've interviewed a lot over the years, less so in the last 5 years, and that really isn't reflective on him as much as it is. I've got a great rapport with Mike Martin Jr., and we're able to have long-form discussions and talk a little bit more in-depthly about the hitting approach and the offensive approach in general. And so for Mike Martin, though, he's always been a pro's pro. I can tell you that. When I first, again, I try to reference things for when I first broke into the business. I remember being very nervous meeting him and being very nervous. I rode over with Lee Bowen the first time I ever met him. And it was really just me and Lee and maybe two other journalists. Steve Ellis was there. The late Steve Ellis was there. We met in a little conference room and sat down at a table. And I was by no way, I didn't feel like I belonged there. Everybody else there had been covering the program for some time, and obviously Martin was already established as an elite college coach, and so I just kind of sat there and didn't ask much, jotted notes, but he couldn't have made me feel more welcome and provided insight from that point forward. It's always been fun. So guy that cares deeply about Florida State and very deeply about the fans who attend the games. Florida State's always had great attendance, and I know that he appreciates that.
Well, he was always the type too. If there was two games going on at once, make it over from the basketball game, go cover baseball, and then we'd be in the post-game dugout, because for a long while, it was dugout interviews, not tradition room like it is for the postseason. Now that's just the way they do it. And he'd ask about the game before we'd even start talking. He says, "Well, how did the basketball game go?" And you'd give him a rundown. You want to know who played well, who didn't play well.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The dude is an incredibly loyal Nole. And sometimes I think we confuse a coach who wears the shirt with a coach who bleeds garnet and gold, But Mike Martin is the latter. He bleeds garnet and gold. And I will say this, too. Just sitting in a room, not one-on-one or anything like that. I'm not big time like the guys from War Chants or anything like that. But in a beat report setting, and you've got angry coaches, and I covered three principal ones, Leonard, Mike Martin, and then Jimbo. When Jimbo would get angry, it was kind of funny when he had that intense, angry look. When Leonard gives you a look, I mean, that's like, whoa.
Everybody stops.
The vacuum effect.
Yeah.
Mike Martin's pretty close, too. When he's angry about something, and it breaks character.
Well, it's so rare, yeah.
Because he's just all shucks, and then you see the intensity. He can quiet a crowd now. He can get everybody's attention real quick, and it's
if he doesn't appreciate a question or thinks it came out of left field or is taking a shot at a kid or whatever it might be. Yeah.
I'm not trying to bring up the negative. It's just a window into their personality. Like when he wants to get really focused, everybody gets on the same page quickly. It's not the same speed as with Leonard, but it's pretty close.
I'm just glad, and I know everybody else was too. You wanted him to get that win at home. I mean, you wanted that to happen. The field is named after the man. I mean, you want him to get that win in Tallahassee at Florida State, Dick Howser Stadium, Mike Martin Field.
Well, and also that one serves to me as like an epilogue for breaking the record. It's nice to get the 2,000 and to have even more.
Right, but he already passed Augie Garrido, and so you kind of, that's what I meant. This was sort of, and it's a crazy number. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at it, 2,000 wins, he becomes the first coach to get 2,000 of anything. Did you see that? I mean, that's a crazy number. I mean, to have that many wins in your career, I mean, it is safe to say when I did the show over the summer, again, we would have Baseball America guys in different sites who cover college baseball throughout the country. Right. We'd have all those different guys on, and they would always talk about just like, listen, you realize what you're watching here. Don't forget that nobody else is going to do that. You won't see it.
Not in 20 years, not in 30 years, like ever.
No, you may never see it again. I mean, you always hesitate to say never, but it's likely in this day and age that you're never going to see that
the parity in the sport the way it is now, that's really tough.
Really tough. And people just don't stick around at a place for 40-plus years. I mean, you're not going to see it.
They don't stick around in a career.
No, it's insane.
They go different places, but, I mean, yes, that's the career itself, the breadth of it is really – it's hard to fathom. If you sit down and you try and fathom it, it's really hard to wrap your arms around how long he's been here as the head man. I know some people in the stand say way too long, but that's the truth of it, man. It's longer than my lifetime and then some.
It's a hell of an honor. Congratulations to Coach Martin. Irashafel, warchant.com. Speaking of which, is up next. Stay tuned.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Specials. Connect to their free Wi-Fi and keep up with your bracket. From the opening tip to the cutting of the nets, come see why Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Oh, my goodness!
Change your oil at Superlube every 3 months or 3,000 miles for a longer-lasting engine and better gas mileage. Change your oil at Superlube today, and for a limited time, you'll get a free car wash. Right now at Superlube, you never need an appointment. You'll be in and out in no time. And with 19 Tallahassee area locations, there's a Superlube just minutes away right now.
Boy, this place is sure convenient. How I love to Superlube my car, lube my car. How I love to Superlube my car. Yes, sir.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Napa know-how.
Chase Elliott here letting you know that when you spend $25 at Napa this month, you get a free Chase Elliott racing hat. Need a set of brakes? How about a new battery? Both are hat-worthy. Replacing an air filter, then adding on wiper blades and headlamps just to break $25? That works too. Go get your free Chase Elliott hat today. Quality parts, helpful people, free hats. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 3/31/19.
Did you know that 42% of parents lose sleep worrying about college costs? We have a plan for that. For 30 years, Florida Prepaid has helped more than 1 million families like yours save for college. No wonder it's the largest and most successful prepaid plan in the country. Prepaid open enrollment is happening now, so take the first step toward college savings for as little as $47 a month. Enroll today at myfloridaprepaid.com, because starting is believing.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening on this first day. Teams can negotiate with NFL free agents with any deals becoming official when the new league year starts on Wednesday. Raiders coming off the huge trade to acquire receiver Antonio Brown, adding former Patriots offensive tackle Trent Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting Trent Brown intends to sign a 4-year, $66 million contract with Oakland, including $36 million guaranteed. Deal has the highest average annual value ever for an offensive lineman, $16.5 million. 49ers intend to sign linebacker Quan Alexander, formerly of the Buccaneers, 4 years, $54 million, $27 million guaranteed. Eagles to sign former Jags defensive tackle Malik Jackson, 3 years, $30 million. Buccaneers actively shopping receiver Deshaun Jackson, a trade preferred for Tampa Bay, but some teams that ESPN's spoken to believe Jackson will be released rather than traded. And there are two reasons the Bucs are looking to move on from Jackson, believes ESPN's Booger McFarland.
Talk about the culture and then talk about the fit. The culture-wise, I don't know if a guy that's going to call out the quarterback and make a lot of noise is going to fit in the first year with Bruce Arians. When you're trying to figure out whether Jameis Winston can be your guy, then let's talk about X's and O's. Jameis Winston is not the most accurate deep ball thrower in the league. Where does Deshaun Jackson make his money? Down the field.
NBA Celtics forward Jason Tatum won't play tonight against the Clippers due to soreness in his right shoulder. NBA scoring leader James Harden and the Rockets go for their 9th consecutive win when they take on the Hornets tonight. Houston is 3rd in the West, a game up on Oklahoma City. Charlotte is a game back of Miami for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Kansas basketball coach Bill Self told reporters today guard LeGerald Vick will not rejoin the team this season. Vick, the Jayhawks' second leading scorer this year, took a leave of absence for personal matters early last month.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Good Monday. Thanks for tuning to it online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live. Obviously, miss it, go back, get caught up all 3 hours every day. Posted as soon as the show ends, both iTunes and in our own audio vault on the webpage. He joins us every Monday. Today's no different. Let's bring in our buddy Ira Schoffel, warchant.com, the website. Hello, Ira. How the hell are you, buddy?
I'm great, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing really well. So, obviously, a few things to kind of pour over here. We'll start with, by the way, good article on Mike Martin getting his 2000th win in the 5-2 victory over Virginia Tech. They win the series. And, I've been going to games since the early 90s, covered them since starting in 98. I know you've been going an awful long time, too, to cover the program. And I thought you had the right perspective because we all knew it was a foregone conclusion. He was getting to 2,000 wins. He had already become the winningest coach of all time when he surpassed Augie Garrido. But if you'd like, in words here for our listeners, what were your thoughts as you watched Mike Martin celebrate this grand achievement, giving back, giving thanks to the fans, hearing President Thrasher and the like?
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing that was nice that was here. Last year when he set the wins record, it was at Clemson. And really, as much as any coach, we've covered. I mean, Mike Martin really, loves the fan base, loves the interaction between his players and the fans. He loves fan day. He loves, he notices when the crowd's there, and he notices, on nights when the crowd can't be there. He'll never say anything bad about it. But he really, to me, that relationship I think is kind of neat. And the fact that, there are some people certainly in the younger part of the fan base who are ready for change and ready for a new era of Florida State baseball. There's a big group that's not always heard from of, the people that really just love Mike Martin and love what he did for the program and has done for the program. And so I thought that day was kind of a neat experience for both of them. It was nice for him to get celebrated by the fan base, and also for the fans to have an opportunity to honor him as well.
Yeah, and big picture right now, too, and we don't want this to get lost in the shuffle. They're off to a fantastic start. Obviously, Florida tomorrow, and that's a big deal always. But this team right here hits the baseball. It's good they start out by winning a conference series. We're all ready, I think, for them to get into the meat of the schedule now and really starting to test exactly what this group is. I think a cursory glance so far would suggest maybe not great frontline starting pitching, deep bullpen. They can hit a lot. They pick up the baseball, but they do strike out a bunch as well.
Yeah, the strikeouts are just it's hard to wrap your mind around because that's been such a staple of what Mike Martin Jr. has done with his offense is not striking out and getting on base and being so selective at the plate. And you got a bunch of free swingers on this team now. I mean, some guys with some pop, and I guess that goes along with it. But there's a stretch last week where I think they at least 10 times in 4 straight games, and a couple of them had 17 and 16 strikeouts, which is just it's unheard of. But it's a different looking team. Defensively, you got to like the defense. I think you like the number of arms that are available, and I got to think that Parrish and Van Eyck, we've seen them pitch at a really high level. It seems like we've seen years before where the first couple of starting pitchers have maybe gotten off to a rough start and kind of figured it out. And I have to assume that's going to happen. Those guys are too good of pitchers to pitch the way we've seen them in some of these early starts. So if they come around with that bullpen and you know, that offense that can kind of pour on some runs, I mean, this could be an interesting team. I guess collegiate baseball, which still exists, I don't know how it exists, but collegiate baseball has them number one in the country, which seems amazing. But you know, there are a lot of pieces there if it comes together.
I still exist, shockingly.
Well, I mean, when's the last time you saw a copy of collegiate baseball?
No, I know. I didn't think about it until you just said it, but I was like, I guess you short of calling them sorry asses.
Well, it's like, oh, wait, Florida State's still number one, and what? Who? Collegiate baseball.
Yeah, that's
still going on. For years, they were the standard. Collegiate baseball and Baseball America were the standard.
So let's go over to basketball, where yet another win occurs, and albeit it's over Wake Forest, so in and of itself, you don't talk too much about it, other than to say it allowed Florida State to set a record, a Florida State record, and then also for them to finish the season with a winning record on the road, which we know is nothing to scoff at. And then, of course, we learned of the first team, second team, and third teams, as well as Sixth Man of the Year, which Cabangeli wins, and the votes for coaches as Leonard Hamilton finishes fourth. Admittedly, when you don't have a player that's on the first team or the second team or even the third team, and you win that many games, you'd like to think that maybe you could finish higher than fourth in the voting. But alas, he is the head coach at Florida State.
It's so weird how those ballots are done by the ACC media. You know, for years, you know, Jimbo, even Coach Bowden, but Jimbo certainly could never get Coach of the Year because, you know, he was perceived as having the most talented team. So, you know, just winning the division or winning the conference, you're not going to get named Coach of the Year. Well, now, you know, my man at Virginia has got 2 first-team guys and a second-team guy, so 3 of the top 10 players in the – and I'm not, you know, I mean, obviously he's a very good coach, but you know, you've got 3 of the top 10 players in the conference on your team, and you also run away with Coach of the Year honors. And you know, but I mean, you know, I think Leonard probably smiles at that. I think he loves nothing more than when the media and the ACC don't show FSU a lot of respect. I mean, he kind of I think prefers it, and so that'll be one more thing for him to talk to his guys about going to this tournament. Of course, you know, Fee Cabangeli got Sixth Man of the Year, and Fee and Terrence Mann both got honorable mention, so they weren't totally snubbed. But yeah, I'm sure that's going to be brought up this week heading into the conference tournament.
What do you expect in the conference tournament, Ira? I think it's interesting. Obviously, with that double bye, you get to sit back and watch as teams get underway in Charlotte on Tuesday and gauge who it is you're going to play, likely Virginia Tech or I suppose maybe Miami. You know, you could root for an upset, I guess, if you're a Knoll, and it'd be the easier game to face the Canes. But anyhow, that said, a lot of basketball to watch before Florida State plays, and I'm kind of curious what you think the minute distribution will be for Coach Ham and this group, who obviously want to go on another run in the NCAA tournament. But knowing Coach Ham the way we do, he's not a guy that usually chooses to kind of back off or you take his foot off the pedal. I imagine he'll start it like he's trying to win the tournament.
Yeah, I totally expect him to, and you know, and I think some people, our buddy Corey is one who you know, talking to him, you know, is not convinced that Florida State's going to play great up there, and that maybe Virginia Tech is going to, you know, be a tough out playing them 2 weeks in a row. But either of those teams, Miami, Virginia Tech, they're both really short on depth, so they're going to be playing on no rest. You know, whoever wins that game is going to be playing again the next day against Florida State, who will be a little bit more rested. And I think Leonard Hamilton and his coaches look at this team like a team that can compete for the ACC championship. So I'd be real surprised if they don't give it their full effort. And the bottom line is you should, because there's no telling what's going to happen in the NCAA tournament. I mean, Virginia showed that last year. I mean, there's no guarantee that you're going to have a great run in the NCAA tournament. You could have a bad matchup, an off night, the other team plays great, whatever happens. If you have a team that has a chance to make at least the semifinals, but maybe the finals of the ACC tournament, I think you go for it, and I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, and that's his mentality too. Even when we don't think it's logical, I think that's what he would do anyhow. But it's interesting because it's hard to wrap your mind around the idea that this team would beat, in some order, North Carolina, Duke, and Virginia to win the title, right? I mean, it just doesn't It doesn't seem likely, but yeah, I think it's entirely possible, I suppose. Let's move over to football, and let's start with what you gleaned today from interviews. Talk to me about what's going on. I know you wrote an article on WarChant.com today about the offense, and then also what Willie had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest, if there was news, and there's, not a whole lot of news considering we can't see anything, but, I thought Willie definitely seemed pleased by the offense, certainly pleased by the offensive line. He talked about how in sync they were, which I think is a good phrase because they were certainly not in sync very often last year. So I think that's got to be promising. And the fact that he used that term, I think, carries some weight. He didn't just say, hey, they're playing hard or they're doing, but he said they're in sync. And I think that was probably as big a problem with that group as any last year. So I think that's positive. He praised James Blackman for 2 good practices in a row and the way he managed the offense, which, again, is something you definitely want to hear. You don't want to hear that James Blackman's just the starter because DeAndre's gone, but he's actually, establishing himself as a guy who can run the offense and manage it. And then, I think from a overall competitive standpoint, just talking to him and a couple of the players we talked to, you just hear more and more about the competition. And we could actually hear it ourselves. But at the end of practice, we're outside waiting to go in. And, for a group of guys that didn't win a lot of football games last year, they are intense. And it's not just for our benefit. Like I said, the media is not in practice anymore. We were out in the parking lot, but you can hear the competition. I mean, the guys are really going after it. And that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't necessarily guarantee wins, but it's certainly encouraging.
It is encouraging, and I agree with you when you talked about, I watched that interview. Thankfully, you guys wait patiently and get that interview so that I can watch it here before I go on the air, Ira. And one of the things that I liked was he did seem legitimately encouraged by what he was seeing, and I thought it was interesting that he praises, again, the offensive line and the way they're playing, and then he also talked a little bit about how quickly they played, and all of that is enough to kind of buoy your spirits a little bit. Thoughts on Alex Hornibrook, who comes in from Wisconsin? I've seen him play. You've seen him play. We've watched some Wisconsin games that he played in. I'm not overwhelmed by his ability, but I do think it's a good move for Florida State, obviously, to have an experienced, quality backup coming into Tallahassee.
I mean, I think it's a great move. I mean, the problem is, you're never going to find that perfect solution based on the position they were in. I mean, they weren't going to find somebody that really excited everybody, but also didn't scare off James Blackman during the offseason, and also, was a perfect fit for this offense. And also, I mean, where's that person out there? So I think this is a good fit. It's a guy that he believes he has an opportunity here. And James Blackman, I don't think, is going to be scared off by watching Alex Hornibrook tape last year from Wisconsin. So I think there's a good chance you'll have both of those guys this fall, along with Nolan McDonald and Jordan Travis. And then, as far as what he does, the lack of mobility thing is interesting to me. And I don't know. At some point, we'll have to dig deeper into it. But I didn't notice. It was only 1 week, but we didn't see them doing a whole lot of zone read last week at practice. So I'm curious if there's going to be less asked of the quarterback. Maybe it's just based on personnel. Maybe, Kendall Browse talked about when he got the job that he's going to base his offense on his personnel. Well, James Blackman's not a super mobile quarterback. This guy doesn't appear to be. The other walk-on that they're taking in, who originally was at Eastern Michigan or Western Michigan, he doesn't. I mean, he's more athletic, but not a super athletic guy. So I kind of wonder if they're going to tone that back and not do what they did last year, which was ask DeAndre to run when he clearly didn't want to run. So from that standpoint, it may be a better fit than maybe people realize.
My brother, always appreciate it. Be well. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
Yep. Irish Fell, WarChant.com. Well, James is a little bit more mobile than he gets credit for, I think. I mean, he can scramble when necessary. He can pull it down and run. He actually exhibited the ability to run the offense we wanted to run that DeAndre refused to run last year when he got in there and had his opportunities. But it's true. I mean, he's not a guy that you would mistake as an extremely mobile quarterback. You would never label him as that. You would never label him as elusive or anything like that. But he's not a statue.
No, you'd say he has an idea of what he's doing. It's just the ball security. Make a note about ball security, will you? It's not a loaf of bread. Sometimes he'll extend it way too far from his body. And while he's better in the open field than he is in the pocket, about taking just absolute highlight reel shots to the ribs.
My God, does he take some shots?
He still will take some shots in the open field. So Kendall may look at the film and say, hey, man, it's better if we pass to be able to do that from time to time rather than let's use this as our base in the offense and then throw off of it.
Well, going back to Hornibrook for a second and what I was saying about the get for Florida State, and I agree with Ira. I think it's an important get, if only to ease concerns that your depth chart, as we know it right now without news on the waiver for Jordan Travis, you're a hit, one of those hits away from having to start a walk-on. And look, I understand he was a 3-star, and so he could have played at a lot of different places as a starting quarterback somewhere, or eventually a starting quarterback somewhere. Air Force wanted him, other people wanted him. He could have played somewhere else. So it's not like you're just your standard, hey, this guy was in the student body, he just decided to walk out after 2 years, and yeah, I think I'll give it a go. It wasn't like that. But he's not ready. And that's not who should be starting at Florida State. Let's just say it, right? I mean, unless you found some diamond in the rough that fell through all the cracks somehow, and then he arrives here and he's, a first-round draft, you ought not be starting that guy at Florida State.
Man, there's a lot of positions that you could throw those sentences at right now, especially if you look at the last 12 months.
What, who ought not be starting at Florida State?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true, especially on the offensive line. I will say it was very encouraging to see how Willie was talking up the offensive line, and he's just impressed already with what's going on there. And I think, I think it's enough just to raise an eyebrow. Let's just put it that way. We'll see. I got it. Nobody's going to be completely bought in with anything until we see just how much better this team actually plays when they're suited up in pads and they're scrimmaging and they're getting ready to play a real game.
I think most of our eyebrows are like if we were sitting at a bench and there were 400 pounds on the on the bar. I don't know. It would take a lot to make that thing move.
Yeah, I mean, I got you. But, again, it beats the alternative of not hearing anything. I mean, Coach Clements being praised this quickly is something that we never heard from a year ago.
Yeah. When you guys were talking about the Coach of the Year thing, I think we just need to institute a rule. If you as a 1 seed lose to a 16 seed, the year prior, you're not allowed to win Coach of the Year for anything the next year. You're not allowed to.
Well,
that's just a rule. You can't do that. So what do you come back and say, what a job he's done to shake off the adversity of losing to a 16 seed.
The first team in the history of college basketball in that tournament to do so.
You pick second preseason, all that stuff. I mean, they got 2 guys that are potential first-round players. It's not like the Virginia teams of a few years ago when, once those guys leave campus,
they got talent.
They go sell insurance or something.
No, I think Tony Bennett's a good coach, though. I don't think there's any getting around that. They've had a fantastic season. There's no getting around that. If you want to consider them having tied for first place in the ACC regular season for Coach of the Year, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, they're 28-2. So
what more could you do this year? Oh, make it to the second round as a 1 seed.
My guess is I'll put a side bet that they do that. I think they'll go further than that even, okay? So they're going to do that.
Don't let them trail by 10 in that game.
It'd be funny because it could get between the ears without problem, but without question. But I think they will. And probably go on a deep run because they're really good and really experienced and really pissed. Really pissed. I mean, so they're probably going to go on that run.
What a good job by Tony Bennett to motivate these kids this year.
Well, if you want to make fun of not Shaman, who was it I was ripping?
McDonough?
Yeah, McDonough. Yeah. If you want to make fun of McDonough, then please, by all means do, because my God, he all but professed the need to make love to Tony Bennett on the air the other night, and it was absurd. But at the same time, where you do get frustrated is, okay, so you look at those votes and you see that Florida State doesn't have the quote-unquote blue-chip players, certainly not the all-conference players.
No,
They're
not even close.
Not on the list, but they finished 4th in the conference.
Well, and when you hear McDonough so effusive in his praise, I'll move on. Then Reese Davis, the comments he has at a play-by-play. Well, Florida State is playing in front of him, beating the hell out of Clemson, mind you. And then Lenardi comes in that broadcast and says it's basically impossible for us to be a 4 seed. You're just wondering where the disconnect between the evidence and the conclusions people draw from, I guess, not reviewing the evidence.
Well,
where does that happen?
Lenardi now has us as a 4 seed. So once again, it would prove that basically
he had no idea what the hell he was talking about.
Or that he thought it unlikely that Florida State would go on to win the rest of those games, which they did go on to win. It sure seems plausible to argue that the analysts for college basketball and ESPN, certainly Seth Greenberg and many others, thought Virginia Tech would come in and win that game. It seems to me from what I've heard from Jay Williams and all the rest of those guys, they thought Virginia Tech was going to come in and win that game. They almost did, but they didn't.
Right, in the fashion that the first half played out in, too, right?
Yes, yeah.
It's kind of like if they did all they could, except much like the 2013 National Championship game out in Pasadena. They just didn't have, another SEC. See, if you're not in the SEC. Nobody put that tweet out there at halftime.
Well, yeah, it's less about what Virginia Tech is, although it's a good basketball team. It's more about what they just don't believe Florida State to be. And I'm open for these debates. That's fine. But the numbers are the numbers. And 12 out of 13 is 12 out of 13. Finishing fourth is finishing fourth. 13-5 in the ACC is 13-5. Now, not all the schedules are created equal. I got you. You'll go through here and you'll look and you'll say, hey, arguably, certainly last year's schedule was a lot tougher than this year's schedule, and all of that is true. But you can't go 8-1 at home, 5-4 on the road. You have an RPI of 15. You have a top 20 net. You've rattled off 12 of 13 in one of the best conference, if not the best conference in college basketball, and then be called a fraud. That can't happen.
But sure, tell me about Kyle Guy and how much he needed Tony Bennett's help to become a good player in the league this year on the way to winning Coach of the Year.
Yeah. Now, I do have a problem, I think, with Roy Williams in North Carolina, but okay.
You always have, though, because they take nights off, and so you don't respect them for that reason.
There are a couple other reasons with Roy, but listen, it would be foolhardy to sit here and tell you that North Carolina doesn't field an elite team every year.
That's the most dangerous team.
Of course they do.
The way they crash the glass, that team is incredibly dangerous.
Well, yeah, they're filled with blue chip, first team, all-world players. That's what they do.
Well, he brought Luke May to a different level this year, and that's why he gets my vote for Coach of the Year.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys.
This.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Right.
What are you getting at here, Jeff?
Mo used what to cut his hair?
I don't know, Jeff. What is a bowl?
Boom. A bowl indeed.
Hey, that gives me an idea.
Really?
We should have bowls here at Gordo's. We can do all kinds of bowls. We can do chicken bowls, fish bowls. We can do steak bowls, pork bowls, veggie bowls. Brilliant. I'm a genius. Jeff? Hey, Jeff.
Napa know-how. Chase Elliott here letting you know that when you spend $25 at Napa this month, you get a free Chase Elliott racing hat. Need a set of brakes? How about a new battery? Both are hat-worthy. Replacing an air filter, then adding on wiper blades and headlamps just to break $25? That works too. Go get your free Chase Elliott hat today. Quality parts, helpful people, free hats. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 3/31/19.
Want to know what power feels like? Come get behind the wheel of an all-new, completely redesigned 2019 Silverado 1500 from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy. Shop over 100 in stock today.
Find new roads at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet and at DaleJrChevy.com.
Hey, sports fans, who's on your Mount Rushmore of baseball? I'm going with Ruth, Cobb, Aaron, and Mantle. Football, I've got Bradshaw, Peyton, Montana, and Brady. In basketball, Jabbar, Jordan, Bird, and LeBron. This debate could go on and on, but when it comes to the Mount Rushmore of personal injury law in Tallahassee, the choice is clear. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey. Recently voted Tallahassee's best law firm, so avoid the underdog and go with the favorite. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey.
FSU football is returning.
Touchdown FSU!
But before their drive to build a new winning season, Doak After Dark returns with another amazing concert. Classic hits from the 90s hit the stage again as MC Hammer brings his epic throwback party.
Stop. Hammer time.
Also featuring Tone Loc and Color Me Bad, the biggest hits of a generation. See the concert after the FSU spring game Saturday, April 6th. Hammer's House Party Live. Get your tickets now at Seminoles.com.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived or are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and only can be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. Going on right now during Jeep Freedom Days. Only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. ST18J605 must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jason Peters agrees to a one-year, $10 million deal, $5.5 million guaranteed. Philadelphia Eagles.
Could add him for 10, huh? Okay.
Left tackle Trent Brown expected to sign a 4-year, $66. Did that deal get done already? This was as of the start of the show. I should probably update.
I'll pull up Shefty's.
Pull up old Shefty and let us know where he's at with these things right now. But, yeah, these deals are all happening very quickly. I'm trying to stay on top of these. People eagerly anticipating who's going where.
Big news. Jamison Crowder intends to sign with the Jets. There you go.
Huge news, Tom. Ex-Texans cornerback Kevin Johnson agreed to a deal with the Buffalo Bills. New England is finalizing a trade to acquire Michael Bennett from the Eagles for a 5th-round pick, where he'll promptly be as good as he was 7 years ago.
Bobby Hart got a new contract. He's signing with the Cincinnati Bengals, 3 years, $21 million plus, per a source.
Bobby Hart just turned 21. Just turned 21, did Bobby Hart. Obviously, Quan Alexander gets big-time money from the 49ers, leaves the Bucs. He's coming off that devastating knee injury. They believe he'll be fine, obviously. 4-year, $54 million deal, $27 million guarantees. Good on you, Quan. Good player, man. What a shame that he got hurt, especially when he did. We're both still pissed about that.
Yes, because the Bucs most certainly would have finished the contract negotiation probably in season last year if he had stayed healthy. He's a heart and soul player too. That's a tough loss.
Remember the play at Abaddon? Remember how unnecessary it was because we were fiddling around at the end of a half and he had to go back out there?
Yes, that was after, I believe, the
Cam
fumble.
Brate screwed us on a fumble.
Yeah, we fumbled as the Atlanta game at home.
Yeah, it was Cameron Brate. You know how it was the beginning of the end for me. I was like, okay.
I could have said anything. You said, that was Cameron Brate now.
Listen,
if you remember.
God, dog, did he screw us last year. That guy, I understand we found out later on he was playing beat to hell.
I wonder how he got that way.
I mean, man, raise a hand if you can and tell somebody that you can't go out there, dude.
That's the problem. I couldn't raise my hand. I couldn't touch my helmet.
Dwayne Allen signs with the Dolphins, Tom's favorite player. 2 years, $7 million. There you go.
Ebron. I'm an Ebron guy.
Yeah, that's right. You are an Ebron guy. But we both liked Dwayne Allen at one time.
Oh, he's a player.
Yeah, he's a player.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Hyde signs with the Chiefs. Nobody wants Carlos Hyde, man. Every time they're like, they get Carlos Hyde, you think it's sort of pseudo-decent news for that team. Then you're like, Carlos Hyde's on the move again.
He runs hard.
He does. Dante Fowler. I don't like to say Lakewood's own, but Dante Fowler re-signs with the Rams to a 1-year deal.
Mr. Flippy Floppy. Couldn't even say it.
Flippy Floppy.
So angry.
It's very...
a little bit of a heads up. Maybe a month in advance. Maybe we get Leonard Williams, huh? Right? Instead of that dude going to USC.
Lions expected to sign defensive end Flowers to a 5-year deal. So you got there's a lot going on there. By the way, there are mock drafts, as much fun as we like to have at their expense, that we somewhat respect. Typically because they're reasonable when they're done by Daniel Jeremiah, who does a very good job with the NFL Network. And if you must know, he did his 3.0, Tom.
Oh, 3.0.
Yeah, baby, a little 3.0 from my man Daniel Jeremiah.
That's when the Nuggets start getting served up.
And so guess what he did? He took Nick Bosa, number 1, because that's what's going to happen, and it's the right pick. It's just, what are we doing? From there, Quinnen Williams goes at number 2. Josh Allen at 3. Christian Wilkins at 4. Whoa, what? These got to be rankings. This can't be. Yeah, this is rankings. I got it wrong.
Board?
Yeah, it's the board. My apologies. Well, it's still going to be right when Bosa goes. That's interesting. I'm looking through to find how many guys he has ranked ahead of a certain quarterback.
It seems like, in looking, because I did have the NFL Network on over the weekend, I watched the Michael Vick Football Life, which is really interesting. What? You rolled your eyes. I mean, I didn't tune in because it was on. I flipped over and said, all right, the Michael Vick story. And it was...
He's got herpes. Just saying. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. Is that a segue to what? Ron Mexico, yes, was on. And then they had the mock drafts on the bottom line for both Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah. And they can't seem to agree at all on where Sweat from Mississippi State is going to go and where Farrell from Clemson's going to go. They have it flip-flopped. Like top 7, top 8 pick, and then the other guy going in the 20s.
Where do you think Mr. Williams, cornerback, LSU, is going to go?
Not to Tampa, hopefully.
You don't want him?
I mean, if we trade down, even still, I'd say...
I was talking about trading down, obviously. No.
Well, now that we need a linebacker, right?
Well, another LSU product probably then.
Or Devin Bush. It's fine. That dude's made for the NFL.
Yeah.
I know he's kind of short, but, I mean, Jesus, that acceleration's insane.
No, he's a real player. No, he's a good player. I don't need him having a temper tantrum every 2 seconds, but, yeah, he's a real player.
He's got that screw loose that you always want.
Well, and I root for those guys. I root for those guys to arrive in Tallahassee and play for Florida State, but I'd rather have Devin White if we're going to go that route, and if he's there, we should take Devin White, and I think he comes. First of all, he's 15 pounds bigger than Quan, and he's faster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we're done here.
Little 1-for-1.
I mean, that's amazing.
And then we'll get Beckwith back in about 2022.
Is he still on the team?
Yes. I think that's about as much as you can say at this point.
You look through all of this, and well, we're not going to get anything for Deshaun Jackson, so.
No, that was another tweet on Schefter's timeline that said it looks like it's locked in the stars now that Deshaun, one way or another, is going back to Philadelphia. So congratulations, Director Matthew. You get Deshaun Jackson back. I'm sure that makes you thrilled.
I'm actually sure he's not happy with that, but all right, so be it.
Oh, that was dry. I was laying it on there.
I'm just thinking, and at this stage of his career, too, you wonder. But
would Pittsburgh have taken a straight-up swap?
No, but it was worth our time. That's what I'm saying. When you find out that Antonio Brown goes to the Raiders for a third and a fifth, you could have offered the Steelers Deshaun Jackson, so you get a burner for a burner. Now, Brown's a way better player. But anyhow, you give him back a receiver, okay, who can stretch the field, and Ben's got a big arm, so all right, that works, okay? And then you offer something else. You throw in a third or whatever you do, and, let's go.
Now, the Khalil Mack thing is obviously they'll never live that down, but if you just look at receivers.
Oh, the Raiders win this deal.
Yeah. They said Amari Cooper get a first, and then they get Antonio Brown for a third and a fifth. So they end up getting a first and Antonio Brown for Amari Cooper. And then give up a third and a fifth going the other way.
Yeah, no.
That's crazy.
The relative ease with which they negotiated this deal with Pittsburgh is insane.
Well, the fact that it bled past Friday tells me that Pittsburgh, when they said submit your best offers, they got a bunch of offers. They couldn't believe how low they were. And the crazy thing is,
because
you see how much is on the book still?
I know.
Pittsburgh has to pay $21 million against the cap for
leverage,
Antonio.
Man. You're bent over a barrel when a guy's told the free world that he's not coming back to play for you. This is what happens. This is why we're screwed with Deshaun, also because he's not nearly as good. But that's it.
Unless you're Steve Eisman with Marty St. Louis. It's the only time in trade history a dude has publicly listed one team, and that team that he's leaving
ponied up
ends up winning the deal.
Yeah.
That's the only time that's ever going to happen.
It really doesn't happen. Because you're just leveraged in a way that, I could describe a lot of ways.
They're still on the hook for over $20 million against the cap for Antonio Brown.
Unbelievable. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Cleats, an old soccer ball, or any other equipment, anything and everything is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your consideration. From 97.9 ESPN Radio and the staff at the Corner Pocket.
And now, a quick comparison from Grasshopper. When a client calls, what do you want them to hear? Your personal voicemail?
Hey, you've reached Greg's cell phone. I'm away right now, obviously. Leave a message and maybe I'll get back to you.
Or something a little more buttoned up, courtesy of Grasshopper.
Thanks for calling Green Landscaping. To make an appointment, dial 1. For billing, dial 2. To speak with Greg Smith, dial
There's
3.
no contest. Put your best voice forward with Grasshopper, the virtual phone system for small business. Try it free at grasshopper.com.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now. 800-390-9528. That's 800-390-9528. By calling your addiction team, you're taking the first steps to recovery. The help you need could be one call away. 800-390-9528. Make the free call now. 800-390-9528. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/terms for more information.
Did you see that game last night?
Ooh, instant classic.
I can't believe how much Burton was sweating in the ninth. You could see each bead dripping off his brow.
I didn't see him sweating.
My girlfriend was blown away by his clear skin. She kept going on and on about what his daily regime is. It was pretty impressive. I'm sure you noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice his smooth skin.
Either you don't have a girlfriend or you don't have DirecTV.
I don't have either, actually.
Wow. Really?
Live sports that aren't in 4K are just kinda TV. Only DirecTV has the most live sports in 4K. Don't just kinda TV, DirecTV. Switch from Dish and get a $100 reward card. Limited 4K programming available. Requires entertainment package or higher. Compatible equipment. Reward card with 24-month agreement. Maintain service and redeem within 75 days. Card within 4 weeks. Ends 3/31/2019. Select markets only. Requires 2-room setup. Minimum $47 per month for 12 months after discount. Price is higher in second year. New residential customers only. Equipment lease, activation, installation, early termination, equipment non-return, and other charges and restrictions apply.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
The madness is coming to the corner pocket.
They're in trouble. Desperation. Yes!
Choose the place with Tallahassee's best TVs. The Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall. 8 50-inch crystal clear flat screens. You won't miss a second of the action. Corner Pocket's your headquarters for the most watched sporting event in America.
For the win! Good! A miracle!
Delicious food, the best drink specials. Connect to their free Wi-Fi and keep up with your bracket. From the opening tip to the cutting of the nets. Come see why Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Oh, my goodness!
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening on this first day. Teams can negotiate with NFL free agents with any deals becoming official when the new league year starts on Wednesday. Raiders coming off the huge trade to acquire receiver Antonio Brown, adding former Patriots offensive tackle Trent Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting Trent Brown intends to sign a 4-year, $66 million contract with Oakland, including $36 million guaranteed. Deal has the highest average annual value ever for an offensive lineman, $16.5 million. 49ers intend to sign linebacker Quan Alexander, formerly of the Buccaneers, 4 years, $54 million, $27 million guaranteed. Eagles to sign former Jags defensive tackle Malik Jackson, 3 years, $30 million. Buccaneers actively shopping receiver Deshaun Jackson, a trade preferred for Tampa Bay, but some teams that ESPN's spoken to believe Jackson will be released rather than traded. And there are 2 reasons the Bucs are looking to move on from Jackson, believes ESPN's Booger McFarland.
Talk about the culture and then talk about the fit. The culture-wise, I don't know if a guy that's going to call out the quarterback and make a lot of noise is going to fit in the first year with Bruce Arians. When you're trying to figure out whether Jameis Winston can be your guy, then let's talk about X's and O's. Jameis Winston is not the most accurate deep ball thrower in the league. Where does Deshaun Jackson make his money? Down the field.
NBA Celtics forward Jason Tatum won't play tonight against the Clippers due to soreness in his right shoulder. NBA scoring leader James Harden and the Rockets go for their 9th consecutive win when they take on the Hornets tonight. Houston is 3rd in the West, a game up on Oklahoma City. Charlotte is a game back of Miami for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Kansas basketball coach Bill Self told reporters today guard LeGerald Vick will not rejoin the team this season. Vick, the Jayhawks' second leading scorer this year, took a leave of absence for personal matters early last month.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Dateline, Anchorage, Alaska. Musher Nicholas Petit lost a huge lead in the Iditarod Trail sled dog race today when his dog team refused to keep going. Yes, but it's better than that. They refused to keep going after he yelled at one of the dogs. Talk about a show of solidarity. A dog named Joey had been fighting with another dog on the team and then jumped it during a break on the way to the Bering Sea checkpoint of Kuyuk. That's when I yelled at Joey. Everybody heard the yelling. It just doesn't happen ordinarily, Petit told the Iditarod Insider. By the way, if you're a member, subscribe to not just the Iditarod website, but the Insider page. Check your life, man. Holy moly. What are we doing here? I'll pay the extra $5 for the insider page.
Boy, you don't need new shoes. When I get the Iditarod Insider.
I yelled at Joey. Everybody heard the yelling. That doesn't ordinarily happen, Petit told the Iditarod Insider website. And then they just wouldn't go anywhere. So we had to camp here. Several mushers passed Petit's team on the trail, erasing his 5-hour lead. At some point, imagine you're imploring the dogs. All right, I'm sorry I yelled at Joey. But, Joey, you have to admit, you were a little unruly when you attacked Sam. I've been barking at you guys all day long about figuring this out. And now here we are, fighting on the trail with a 5-hour lead, and you all are refusing to go. Soon people will be here. Are we just going to squander the whole day because you two can't get along and you're mad that I yelled at Joey? Joey, who's been a nuisance from the get-go. The checkpoint is 827 miles into the 1,000-mile race across Alaska. Ooh, that's a toughie.
Man, they were home free.
It could have walked backwards. Petit said his dogs are well fed. There's no medical issue keeping them from getting up and running. It's just in their head. We'll see if one of these dog teams coming by will wake them up at all. See, is that what had to happen? Kathy's team, these slappies have to run past you to decide to go back and get motivated? For Petit, it's another bad memory from the stretch between the Shiktulik and Koyuk checkpoints. He was in command of last year's race, in fact, when he got off the trail during a blizzard and lost the lead again. He wound up finishing second, just behind Olsum. There's something about this spot right here, he mused. So that means that this poor bastard, this Petit character, got out to a huge lead, cruising along. He gets about 700 miles into the trip, and he's thinking, well, I wonder if in about 120 miles we're going to have a problem. That 827 checkpoint is always a bugaboo, you know. Something about the spot, as he said. The race started March the 2nd. Today's March the 11th. These dogs have been running 9 days. The course through the Alaska wilderness took mushers over 2 mountain ranges. I put on the incline at Orange Theory and get it up to like 4%, and I think this is ridiculous. I'm going to die. These dogs are running over mountain ranges. 2 of them.
Not anymore.
You also have to cross the frozen Yukon River before you reach the treacherous Bering Sea coast. The winner is expected to come off the sea ice and mush down Nome's Main Street to the finish line sometime in the middle of next week. No thanks. That's cruel and unusual to go 827 miles. The race is 1,000 miles. He's right there. He can see it. There's nothing out there straight just looking at it. Frozen ice. Frozen lake. Just go.
Well, ice is frozen, too.
Yes, it is. Man, I love it. I just love the part about he's yelling at Joey. Now, damn it, Joey. How many times?
And then Joey drops.
Joey's like, you know what? Get you some of this. My favorite part is that every other dog is standing alongside Joey.
Yeah, Joey's got it, man. Joey's the pack leader. Joey's like, I'm going to lick my nose for 4 days. What'd you think about that?
Seems to me that Nicholas Petit doesn't have a good handle on the locker room, Tom. He just doesn't know what he's dealing with here.
If only he could fly Joe Torre out there.
He could handle these personalities.
I think he might be there.
Yeah.
Middle of next week.
He will have won this thing. He would have been in all of his glory sliding right through Nome to the sound of 50 people going, all right. ride. But you got to know there are dogs you can yell at, dogs you can't. Clearly, Joey ain't having it. He's not down with this.
I think Joe Torre would tell him, hey, even A-Rod had to play third for Jeets, okay? It couldn't have been the other way around. It wouldn't have worked.
I can't fathom. I don't get it. So right off the bat, there you go. I don't get it. I don't see what the hell you're doing this for. Also, I've always rooted for the dogs just to stop. Just stop, man. It's 1,000 miles. This is ridiculous. It would suck if we were doing 50, but it's 1,000 over 2 mountain ranges and a frozen river. I mean, we're just going and going and going. Good Lord.
But it's yelling that gets these dogs to stop. It's not fatigue
it's not,
at all.
No, that cracks me up, right? So the whole idea is, all right, guys, it's almost that time of year. We got to go kick some ass in this 1,000-mile race. It starts next month.
We're going to watch some film.
Let's get right.
Let's get right. Balto in there. We're going to watch some Balto. Get ready for this thing.
Remember, guys, remember what can be done. This is your shot at glory. Tonight, I'm going to show you the 98 Iditarod. One of the great comebacks of all time. These are the motivators we'll employ. We will get this done. We're the best team. Joey, I don't need any nonsense out of you this year. I'm just saying, Joey. And then back to the speech. Joey's already like, okay, this is what we're doing here?
He does that one more time.
One more time. Why am I always singled out? Just because I'm the baddest ass? I can't remember what I called the other dog. Sam?
Well, then there was also Kathy's team that passed him by.
That's the best. She's like, doo-doo-doo.
Must be a year that ends in a number.
She tells her team to take her time. Don't worry about it. Let him get way out there. You guys, take her easy. We're going to be all right. Right around mile marker 820, you can call it a day.
I dress petite and I beat petite. Goodbye.
Oh, that is something to behold. 827 miles with a 5-hour lead. That's a wonder they found those dogs alive.
Yeah, Petite has some restraint there.
I mean, I
think Joey, might come back with 7 dogs.
I'm rooting for the dogs, but I was going to say, I mean, that guy, that's 2 years in a row. At some point, he's going to pull a piece out on the lane.
Is there a 7-dog team coming in
what
here?
What are we doing here? You're full of fat.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
You see them all around town. Cintas trucks and their service reps taking care of customers. When companies use Cintas, you know they're confident and ready. Cintas helps with their fire protection and first aid and safety programs, handles their apparel solutions, and helps keep their facility and restrooms clean and stocked. So you know those companies care about their employees, facilities, and image. When all those things work together, they're ready for business.
Oh, I'm ready!
Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. It's that time of year again, tax returns. And year after year, we get countless phone calls here at Kraft Nissan about our New For You program. Just last week, I got one of those calls myself. It was a young woman who said she had gotten a couple of thousand back on her taxes and that all of the used car lots she visited were trying to put her into cars with over 100,000 miles on them. I told her that every year during tax season, Kraft Nissan puts literally hundreds of people into the first truly brand new car of their life. That's right, Kraft Nissan's New For You program has been copied by dealers across the country, and it's a game changer. So if you're thinking you need a car when you get your tax return, why not make it a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? Remember, credit scores under 600, no problem. Recent bankruptcy, no problem. Recently divorced, no problem. Grab your tax return check and come see how 4 to 5 people get approved at Kraft Nissan. People all around Tallahassee are discovering if you have a dent in your credit, now more than ever, you don't see the Kraft tag on your car. You paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
FSU football is returning.
Touchdown FSU!
But before their drive to build a new winning season, Doak After Dark returns with another amazing concert. Classic hits from the 90s hit the stage again as MC Hammer brings his epic throwback party.
Stop. Hammer time.
Also featuring Tone Loc and Color Me Bad, the biggest hits of a generation. See the concert after the FSU spring game Saturday, April 6th. Hammer's House Party Live. Get your tickets now at Seminoles.com.
Seminoles, it's 2019 and a new football season is amongst us. It's a new day, and we have an opportunity to build this program back to where it belongs, together. Every day we get one step faster, one rep stronger. The journey to the top includes you. We are one tribe together, and we remain unconquered. We need you in Doak Campbell Stadium this fall, and that begins by getting season tickets now. Visit us online at Seminoles.com or call 1-888-FSU-NOLE and get ready to hear
Touchdown Florida State!
Very soon.
At Township and College Town, for the table, by the people is not just lip service, it's their mantra. Tallahassee's largest beer hall offers drafts served in steins and a unique twist on upscale pub fare. Just walk up and order for the table and grab a seat by the people. Some you may not even know. If you're looking for a more intimate gathering, Township offers the Garden, a unique setting to Tallahassee complete with outdoor fireplace and a retractable awning. Oh, and let's not forget the 32 taps and private bar. Book it for your next party or company event. Township Tallahassee, 619 Woodward Avenue in Collegetown.
Hey, this is FAMU beat writer Rory Sharrock. Join me Friday at 6 p.m. for the Rattler Review. We're talking all things FAMU. Great interviews with players, coaches, and alumni. The Rattler Review, Fridays at 6 p.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Monster.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening on this first day. Teams can negotiate with NFL free agents with any deals becoming official when the new league year starts on Wednesday. Raiders coming off the huge trade to acquire receiver Antonio Brown, adding former Patriots offensive tackle Trent Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting Trent Brown intends to sign a 4-year, $66 million contract with Oakland, including $36 million guaranteed. Deal has the highest average annual value ever for an offensive lineman, $16.5 million. 49ers intend to sign linebacker Quan Alexander, formerly of the Buccaneers, 4 years, $54 million, $27 million guaranteed. Eagles to sign former Jags defensive tackle Malik Jackson, 3 years, $30 million. Buccaneers actively shopping receiver Deshaun Jackson, a trade preferred for Tampa Bay, but some teams that ESPN's spoken to believe Jackson will be released rather than traded. And there are 2 reasons the Bucs are looking to move on from Jackson, believes ESPN's Booger McFarland.
Talk about the culture and then talk about the fit. The culture-wise, I don't know if a guy that's going to call out the quarterback and make a lot of noise is going to fit in the first year with Bruce Arians. When you're trying to figure out whether Jameis Winston can be your guy, then let's talk about X's and O's. Jameis Winston is not the most accurate deep ball thrower in the league. Where does Deshaun Jackson make his money? Down the field.
NBA Celtics forward Jason Tatum won't play tonight against the Clippers due to soreness in his right shoulder. NBA scoring leader James Harden and the Rockets go for their 9th consecutive win when they take on the Hornets tonight. Houston is 3rd in the West, a game up on Oklahoma City. Charlotte is a game back of Miami for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Kansas basketball coach Bill Self told reporters today guard LeGerald Vick will not rejoin the team this season. Vick, the Jayhawks' second leading scorer this year, took a leave of absence for personal matters early last month.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Good Monday, everybody. Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you as always. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We are online, ESPNTallahassee.com. You can find us on YouTube as well. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. You can email the program if you like. JCS@979, ESPNRadio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. Don't forget the WTSM app. Also allows you to download segments from the program and listen in no matter where you are, and it's free for your mobile devices. All of them, in fact. That's a good thing. Florida State over the weekend not only wins the series against Virginia Tech, but in taking 2 of 3, it means that Mike Martin garners his 2,000th win. We began the show earlier last hour, or 3 o'clock hour, I should say. Show's buzzing right along. Congratulating him. Certainly an amazing benchmark and something to further kind of take in and reflect upon. It's been a long time. But again, Florida State wins that series and is off to a good start. Now heads to Jacksonville to take on Florida. Florida State basketball wins over Wake Forest. No shock there. That's 12 of their last 13 in the ACC. They head into the ACC tournament on the double bye, having finished the season with a winning record on the road in conference. Not something you see every day. And, of course, 13 wins is the record for Florida State in the ACC. Well done, sirs. And the Noles, of course, when you win 12 of 13, you begin to ask the question about seeding. Depends on where you want to look. I'll do bracketology for you, so that's the most common, not the best necessarily, but most people know Joe Lunardi's wig at the very least. And the Noles are a 4 seed against Liberty in Hartford, by the way. So there you go.
Oh, they moved us out of San Jose.
Still in the West, in the Anaheim eventually, but it starts in Hartford. And then, yeah, there you go.
Is Lunardi's wig a Twitter account? Because it should be.
It has to be, and it's remarkable. And he's unwavering in his support of the wig. He hasn't improved it. He hasn't revamped it since he broke it out that first time. I remember being stunned when I saw that. It was a true George Costanza moment. We went from severely balding to check out these thick locks that don't look like real hair combed over. Like, if you're going to do it and get a cool style of hair. Come on, Joe. But instead, it looks fake, and it's a poor excuse for style. But there you go.
So he was balding on television at one time?
Oh, Joe was fading fast, man. Go back and check. And he would do the jet black spray. He looked ridiculous.
I never remembered. What was that? Must be like the 90s, right?
Oh, no. You can find some Lunardi on YouTube from not all that long ago. This wig here is unbelievable. It's an all-timer. And ESPN has some all-timers. I mean, we've got guys that have been sporting the wig for a long time. Really? Carl Ravitch is a legend.
Yes, he is.
But at least Ravi's just unabashed with that I have no real hairline, and it is, whoa, check it out, to the sky.
Carl Ravitch has had that thing for going on 25 years almost.
The wig?
Yeah. He had it in the 90s Sports Center. I couldn't see it on that brownish desk.
Somebody told me, and I don't know if this is true. I'll have to go back. I've never researched it to find it. I just always marveled at the wig itself. Somebody told me you can find footage of Ravitch when he didn't have the wig, and I think he was he was a Connecticut sportscaster. He's from up there, or the north at least, and a smaller place somewhere up there. And there's footage of him doing it bald before he got to ESPN and decided, I got to get the wig going. Yeah, I know. That people will be going down that rabbit hole. Find Carl Ravitch.
Excuse me for a minute. As I see if I can find it on YouTube.
Yeah. No, it's if you can find it, I want to see it because it'll be great. Anyhow, ESPN's got legendary wigs. They abound in Bristol. and I'm not so certain that Lunardi doesn't have the most over the top of the bunch. Anyhow, that has Florida State as a 4 seed. If you're looking across the board for where we might fit, pretty much it seems to be we're locked in as a 4. As low as 5, no worse than 5. I've seen a couple of 3s out there projected if Florida State was able to keep winning. Having said all of that, more news on the basketball court beyond the fact that Florida State, of course, won that game. And that is that the first team, second team, third team votes for the conference came out. Florida State has nobody on the first team, nobody on the second team, nobody on the third team. Kabengele did win Sixth Man of the Year. A couple honorable mentions thrown in there as well. But that said, without having a single player as a first team, second team, or third team all-conference participant, miraculously, Leonard Hamilton guided the squad to 4th place in the ACC, and that got him 4th in the voting for Coach of the Year in the ACC. So, okay.
Yeah, the respect factor is there, man. You can just sense it. Everything about the last 3 weeks of the way that we've been covered tells you how much the nation respects what we do.
Well, I don't care about the nation. I care more about what the numbers are, what the success is on the court, the ranking is, and the seeding is. I care that it be recognized as it should be and duly noted. It hasn't been. That's okay. As Ira correctly pointed out last hour, Ham will use it as fuel. It'll be something he can talk to his players about. And the other thing I know about Ham is I don't think he really cares. It's nice to be recognized for your work. Certainly all of us in all fields appreciate that. And it's good to get a attaboy every now and again. But he cares much more about those kids being in a position to go on another run and to finish some business, as he put it. I think it's interesting because you can take time to reflect on this season as well as the last 2 seasons, and you can really think to yourself for a moment that not only has this program done a 180 from where it was 4 years ago, but also that this is a team now that legitimately he and the staff, and I think the players believe, have a legitimate chance to win a national championship. That's what they think. Now, I get it. If you're hearing this, you're listening to this, and you watch a lot of college basketball, and you look into what the team Florida State's fielding, even within the ACC, and compare it to that of, say, North Carolina in particular, you go, yeah, no. But truncated tournaments are about matchups. Also, as we well know over the years, how many times have you watched teams that were true teams that gained a lot of experience, had a lot of veteran leadership, had a lot of heart, played well together? Well, they prosper in these kinds of tournaments. They do well. They're not always the best players or not even the best team. Now, eventually the creme de la creme rises to the top, and you do get to the place where you say, okay, these 2 or 3 are your candidates. We knew Villanova, for example, as we talked about the year. Look, that nobody's beaten them as we went through it. But that's not what it's about once you get to the NCAA tournament. It's about what last year was, which is, all right, you knock off a 1 seed. That was awesome. It avenged a loss from the year before against Xavier. But not only that, you beat Gonzaga. You went through and you got to the Elite 8, and you were that close to going to the Final Four. And if you want to say that's more likely and that is entirely possible, I would agree with that. I would say yes. And once you get to that point, it's a one-off. Who knows?
Right. I think, and I'm not trying to do this intentionally, but I think if Ike was on this team, if Obiagu was on this team, they would have a shot to win the whole thing. And
would have been interesting to the minutes, though.
Well, yes, who would have developed this year and all that kind of stuff. I get it that different things can happen, especially when you're talking about guys growing into their own and coming into their own.
Like with Kabengele.
I think so. I mean, he already was in the tournament last year. He was a monster in the putback department.
Yeah.
And it was about Kumaje versus Obiagu for the minutes, and Chris to be out there for like 8 minutes, and then here comes Ike, and we're doing some serious things. Because I think what that team could do defensively is hold the best in the country down for long stretches of a time, and also rebound the basketball. I don't know that we have enough to do that. I'm talking about legitimate chance to go win a title. I think we would have had a legitimate chance to go to the Final Four and win a title this year with Ike if he was on that team. Now, what this team can do, legitimately, as Gary Parrish pointed out in an interview that
get
he
to the
did,
Sweet 16.
just
sure.
about anybody.
Yeah,
can
win
get
a
to the
couple
Sweet
games.
16.
Yeah,
but we get to that second weekend, we can go to the Elite Eight, and then we could scare. Something we didn't do last year, depending on what the matchups look like.
It just depends on the matchup. And the other thing about that, I would say, Tom, a little caveat to what you said. Sure, Ike would have been nice, but I'll take it a step further and say, okay, let's just assume Ike leaves, which he did. You give me a fully healthy Phil Kofer, a fully healthy Trent Forrest, and this is a different team, even as it is currently constructed.
Well, that's where the hope is, all this rest. And it was a good discussion you and Ira had last hour. You can check that out the second hour of the podcast. But, it's not in Leonard's nature to lay down because you need rest for the NCAA tournament. But anytime Trent Forrest gets rest in this second half of the season when he's been suffering from the turf toe, you can see a distinct difference in the way he plays the basketball game.
Well, and I don't know because we're not there in the locker room to talk to the doctors or to talk to Trent per se because he's not really discussing his injury. He's not going to use it as an excuse, and he doesn't want to talk about it. But what I would say is, can you get to a place where you say, okay, we're starting not the ACC tournament, but the NCAA tournament. Okay, this is it. I'm coming back next year either way. I'm going to get this thing fixed in the off season. This is what we've battled to do. Shoot me up. I don't care. I'm going to have the surgery. It's pain tolerance. It's everything. Just get me to where I can give it a go hard every night because in the tournament, you can't take your time. You can't say, well, we're just playing Wake. I can go easy today, play 18 minutes. We're going to need Trent to be the floor general that he is and to be out there for 30-plus if we're going to win these games and get this team to an Elite Eight again.
Well, I think you can get greedy. And before I finish that thought, we could lose in the first round. I mean,
it's a tournament, sure.
It's a tournament, so
Virginia
it could happen.
Just lost in the first round.
And if we go cold offensively, which we have for stretches this season, then we're vulnerable to just about anybody we would see in that first game.
Without question.
So just to get that out there. But if you could get greedy a little bit and take care of business in impressive fashion in game one.
Like you did against Mizzou last year where you just stomped that ass.
Right. And he plays 20 to 25 minutes instead of 27 to 32. Well, okay, now we're talking because he can really go after it. And then you get another long layoff before weekend 2 of the tournament.
Yeah, no, you listen, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's
of course,
just enjoy
it's
the
having
week.
fun
now,
with it.
I know, it is fun, though. It is an awful lot of fun. Congratulations to Florida State. They get the win over Wake. It's their 13th conference win. It's a winning record on the road in the ACC. Leonard Hamilton finishes 4th in the Coach of the Year voting in the ACC. Tony Bennett finishes 1st, and Roy Williams finishes 2nd. Buzz Williams finishes 3rd. I think the world of Buzz as a coach. I think he's a very good coach. Of course, Florida State had a better record, beat him head-to-head, but sure, by all means. Anyhow, so I got you.
I think
did
Roy
I have that
finished.
reverse?
I think Buzz went 2 and then Roy went 3.
Either way.
Still, I mean,
Yeah. But at least Kabengele did get 6th Man of the Year. They did acknowledge his contribution
in
to
some
ACC
way.
basketball.
He's a 6th man, but he's not quite third team all ACC material. I'm sorry. Just wasn't good enough.
Florida State picked up a very experienced graduate transfer from Wisconsin at quarterback. Alex Hornibrook comes in. That had been long rumored. I say long rumored. It had been in the coffers for a little while there. He does come to Florida State. And, that's important because we had talked a lot about the quarterback situation and the lack of depth, eligible depth. We don't know the situation with Jordan Travis just yet, whether or not he's going to get the waiver. Nolan McDonald, the backup there as the walk-on. Nothing. I keep saying that, but he is. And so, ideally you don't have a walk-on as your backup in case your starter goes down. You wanted some experience depth. You wanted them to be eligible right away, and you get that in Hornibrook. Now, listen, he's not an elite player. I said this last hour. I don't want to sound like I'm dogging the kid. He's a serviceable to above average quarterback in college football. Obviously, what did he go? 26-6 at Wisconsin, I think it was, in his 32 starts.
They're just dismissing Miami. A couple of cracks they had against the Canes, especially 2 years ago when Paul Crisp was filmed saying "turnover chain my bleepity bleep."
Yeah. So 32 starts for him, 26-6 is his career record there. He had some health concerns, but big, strong kid with a lot of experience, has played in big games, and now he comes in, and obviously you have a guy you can fall back on if James Blackman gets hurt, or really, if anything, you get a guy to come in here and push him. I mean, I think James wins that battle, but you want competition. We know that. By all accounts, in week one, it is just week one, James is miles ahead of anybody else that could be his backup or could offer up competition for the job. Maybe Hornibrook comes in and is a guy that can immediately learn the playbook. He's, he was a smart kid at Wisconsin, an honors guy. So maybe he comes in and learns the playbook pretty quickly and pushes him in the fall.
Yeah, exactly. He comes in May, I think it is when he'll arrive on campus. A little bit of breaking news, and I think even if a cheesesteak comes back the other way, this is surprising news. But the Bucs have traded Deshaun Jackson to Philly. They got that done. I don't know what the hell is coming back, but if it's anything, that's pretty good.
Probably a 6th-round pick. I mean, 7th-round pick.
If Antonio's worth a 3rd and a 5th, and you can get any draft pick for Deshaun, that's with an expiring contract. That's pretty damn good.
Active times in the NFL. Also for Florida State, Willie was very encouraged by today's practice. Said the offense looked to be in sync, playing a lot faster. Take that for what it's worth. But he's very pleased with Randy Clements already and how the offensive line is playing together. He's happy with the speed with which they played. They got the better of the defense today, quote unquote. We'll see what happens the rest of the week. Of course, that's just information to pass along.
All that was missing is an old center saying, I think we're going to score 50 touchdowns.
That's just something to pass along. Mike Martin, congratulations on Win 2000. Happened over the weekend. Knowles, of course, win the series against Virginia Tech. Talked about it throughout the show, but if you're just hopping in the car, you don't even mention Mike Martin. No, we have. We've talked about it, and rightfully so. And now we'll be watching with, I think, eager anticipation, the Florida State-Florida game tomorrow over in Jacksonville.
Maybe a sense of dread, too.
You know what's weird about that, too? Florida State's played well leading up to that game. Florida has not. And, of course, it's a single baseball game, and none of that means anything.
Over-under, given that Iris cited some numbers last hour of how many strikeouts we've had in single games. We only have 27 outs to give. Over-under 16.5 strikeouts for the Knowles tomorrow.
I'll go under.
Okay.
They'll be locked in, man. Elevated their level of focus going into this game. They're going to be a strikeout team. Listen, you know who's not surprised by that? Anybody who listened to the hour-long interview I did with Mike Martin Jr. at the start of the year, where before we saw a single inning of baseball at Dick Howser Stadium, he told you we'd hit a lot of home runs, we'd play better defense and be better on the base path, but we would strike out a lot. He gave us the pros and the cons. He said we had a deep bullpen. We do. He was a little concerned, I think, about starting pitching. Rightfully so. It's as advertised up to this point.
It's like you with the basketball program.
You're damn right.
Here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Built to outlast, true zero-turn mowing. Free up more of your time using your Grasshopper for year-round lawn maintenance, from mowing to mulching and everything in between. So whether you're a pro or just want to mow like one, make your next mower a Grasshopper. See them at 4211 Capitol Circle Northwest, or check them out at lawnmowerdealer.net.
After 40 years as Florida State baseball's head coach, Mike Martin Sr. is making this his final season. Join all of us here at Garnet & Gold as we celebrate the farewell tour for the winningest coach in college baseball history, with limited edition commemorative baseballs, t-shirts, and caps in stock right now. And while you're here, check out Nike's hot new line of FSU baseball jerseys, tees, and ball caps. Garnet & Gold with 3 locations: West Pensacola Street, Collard, and Governor Square Boulevard. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Napa know-how.
Chase Elliott here, letting you know that when you spend $25 at Napa this month, you get a free Chase Elliott racing hat. Need a set of brakes? How about a new battery? Both are hat-worthy. Replacing an air filter, then adding on wiper blades and headlamps just to break $25? That works too. Go get your free Chase Elliott hat today. Quality parts, helpful people, free hats. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa Know-How.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 3/31/19.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Live life. Head on. Take every shot. And when it comes to tax season, go for the win with Liberty Tax. Because while you do life, we do taxes. Bounce into a Liberty Tax by February 16th and we'll give you $50 cash for filing with us. Send in a friend and when they complete their return, we'll give you another $50. Stop by today or visit LibertyTax.com. Liberty Tax. You do life, we do taxes.
Located at 2210 North Monroe Street next to Chick-fil-A. Call 597-8248.
There ain't no heating and air conditioning, keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
You can now quickly and easily schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. This winter, take advantage of great rebates and 0% financing for 36 months. Learn more online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 057652. There ain't no heating and air conditioning.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
You guys know that you listen to this show that I do a lot of athlete apologizing. I like to think of it as humanizing and not judging the circus entertainers. But I will side erroneously with a LeVar Ball just because he's an anarchist. Or I will side with Terrell Owens just because the way that he urinates on sportsmanship is something that I enjoy. But Antonio Brown's lost me. It's the mustache. It's the mustache combined with him trying to be serious on the shop with LeBron and bringing the whole show down with the mustache. He just torpedoed the entire show, and he's just yammering, and the words don't mean anything.
You want to be really distracted? Try talking to that guy in person with the mustache just there. Oh, I couldn't hear. He's trying to talk to me about labor differences between the NBA and NFL, and I'm just looking at what is that thing on his face.
Yeah, it's a great name. Pick it up.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway is currently hosting a soccer equipment donation drive for children in the Philippines. Through family and friend connections, the Corner Pocket has adopted the Baybay City Jaguars Football Club in the Philippines as their sponsored team. Youth and teen soccer equipment, new or used, can be dropped off from 11 a.m. through late night 7 days a week at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, located next to Earth Fair on the Parkway. Whether it is a pair of cleats, an old soccer ball, or any other equipment, anything and everything is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your consideration. From 97.9 ESPN Radio and the staff at the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
By the way, Tom, I am told that old Jefferson pilot Ray Combs did give some love to the Hogger during the ACC women's tournament. He got a little bit of...
Way to bring him back to life, JP.
they gave him a little bit of... And we want to salute the Hogger.
He was only the MC at your tournament, the one you care about, between games. There he was on the stage. It was the Hogger.
Man, I'm thinking back on our game over the weekend, coming out in the second half, playing defense as we did. Only committed 2 fouls over the first 7 minutes, kept the Deacons off the free throw line. We traded points over the first 9 minutes or so. It was 45-40 Wake, and then we were talking about it in the first hour. Once we wake up, and there was the surge The 18-0 run for that ass. Ending all hope in that sparsely attended basketball game.
Stick 'em in your mouth and suck 'em.
What remaining fans of the 852 that were there were, well, looks like we're still Wake Forest.
Stick 'em in your mouth and suck 'em.
That made it 58-45 in the moment. With about 4 minutes and 50 seconds to play, we scored on 8 of 11 possessions, 7 of 8 from the floor, including 2 of 2 from beyond the arc. And that was Goodnight Irene. 25-6, 13-5 in the ACC. Not an overly impressive stat line for Florida State if you're looking at shooting percentages and beyond the arc and all that stuff. We weren't real good from the free throw line in the second half either. But at the end of the day, we did have better shot selection, 4 of 8 from beyond the arc in that second half, and that helped out an awful lot.
Yeah, well, we're not that great of a team. You know, I just that's what everybody who's an expert says. So there you go.
Well, the oddity is I think I know why that happens. I'm beyond the obvious. I think that some of this is that when you look at us statistically or you watch us play, depending on when you're watching us play, you can go through stretches. We go through bouts where we don't look like an elite team. The number next to our name, meaning the wins and losses, and 12 of 13 in this conference, finishing 4th in this conference, all suggests that we're something other than what the experts think. When they sit down to watch us, though, they have confirmation bias. They don't think we're great. There are no superstars on this team by way of comparison to North Carolina or Duke, certainly. And so they watch us and they go, well, what gives? I don't see it. And then they refuse to just look at the data. They refuse to look at the wins. They refuse to look at the record. They refuse to look at all those other things that should tell them something else is happening. But if you don't cover this team, then you don't think about how deep they are, and you don't think about the team has a bunch of guys that accept their role and play off of each other, and then on any given night it could be a different star, that there isn't one singular guy. This is the thing we talked about at the start of the year, that it can be both a saving grace for a team, but also it could be a downfall, a potential pitfall. When you get into that NCAA tournament, without having a proven, create off the bounce, get your own shot, take over the game for a stretch when everybody is struggling guy on your roster, you could go through stretches of 5-8 minutes where you don't score and there don't seem to be any answers. And if you're facing a very good team, a cohesive team that was elite in their own conference, they'll put numbers up at a little bit higher rate against your defense, even though we do play good defense, and that's been the catalyst for this run, than some of the middling or bottom feeders ACC teams we faced. So you could find yourself in trouble. At the same time, another hallmark of this team has been all year long, when they go through those stretches, they stay in the game because they play defense. Secondarily, they always come back. They'll always find a way to get themselves back in a basketball game. So you're waiting on it. Somewhere in that second half, it's going to happen, even when it seems highly improbable. See the Louisville game down 10. There were moments when you thought, oh, it ain't going to happen. Virginia Tech game, 19 points at the half, not looking good, can't get into your offense. An inspired and motivated, talented team in Virginia Tech appeared hungry, and yet what happens? That avalanche that we so often see, and we saw again over the weekend, occurred in that game just as it does every time Florida State takes the floor. There are runs where they're going to go on a 12-2, a 14-0, and they get themselves back in the game, reclaim momentum, garner confidence, and move forward from there.
Well, and that's been consistent since non-conference season. And my number one challenge to the experts, which they just clearly don't review basic data, starting with Sean McGuire last year in the ACC tournament in Brooklyn when he was campaigning for Florida State to not make the NCAA tournament at all. It's just there's like 4 or 5 examples now in the last calendar year. When you get down to the important part of the season, which is looking at the bubble like last year or looking at the top 4 in a conference like the ACC this year, and you're not going to give us our just due, it has been consistent that we will go on those big runs throughout the year.
Absolutely.
But they don't look at the fact that we beat LSU and Purdue in the non-conference, darlings, teams that are covered with a lot of expertise and given a lot of praise. It's like it never happened.
Yeah, and again, we're not sexy. We are fun to watch. I would say we're not, it's not like the Junkyard Dog defense days where you watch us and it's just arduous. You're watching 42-40 and it's a potential final score. And that wasn't fun. I wouldn't have watched us either. I did because I had to. And we won games and I liked winning games, but I didn't like the way we won games. This team is a lot more fun to watch. They've got a lot of guys that are very athletic, smart basketball players. We can be above the rim for long stretches at a time. And we're streaky. We're streaky because when we start making shots, we make them in bunches.
Yeah, we do. And if we start, usually it's how we start in terms of hitting from the perimeter or making a lot of jump shots. If the first 4 minutes are good, then chances are we're going to be good for most of the game. If we're not, then we're going to have to find other ways, which is usually getting to the foul line and then just letting the depth win out over time. But it's just you hear during the broadcast, the first half, early second half, if Florida State wants to be an elite team, well, then they need to do this. Like, dude, we are top 15 this year. Can you just for a minute put it down and talk about the accomplishments of a team like Florida State when Wake Forest just got done in a position where they probably should have beaten Duke in Duke's own building? But you'd never hear that with Duke and the problems they've had this season where, I get it, Zion goes down. But that roster is more capable of absorbing a loss like Zion Williamson than almost any other roster in the country, if not better than any other roster in the country. And they get run out of the gym by North Carolina not once, not twice. Syracuse beats them on their home court. Wake Forest nearly beats them and probably should have on their home court. But you don't hear any talk about how they need to do this, and this to be an elite team.
Well, and I get that you get a certain level of a pass when you are a perennial power and you've won national championships and your coach is a Hall of Famer and that you are a annual participant of the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. You're going to be given certain liberties during the course of your ups and downs in a season as to how you're described.
But it's one team, one season, and 1 year, and one resume.
I agree.
It's not about the last 25 years.
But this also gets back to what I constantly talk about that I think Leonard's doing at the end of his time here at Florida State and that I'm rooting for to continue, because you've got to change the way the program is viewed for the reason that it helps you in recruiting. And you can only do that by consistently proving those people wrong until they finally have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Just keep winning. And it's easier said than done. We all know that, especially at a place like this where our budget isn't what those schools pour into their basketball programs. So you have to just defy some of the odds, keep on winning, do what you're doing now, finishing in the top 4, making the tournament again. I bring this up a lot, but it's not just that they went on the Elite 8 run last year. The year before, they made the tournament, and they didn't lose their first game. They made it to the second round. Now, listen, has that a great accomplishment? No, but when you haven't been going to the tournament, and now you can say in back-to-back years you've won at least a game in the NCAA tournament, and you're going back again this year, you're well on your way. You need another 2 or 3 years of this, to be honest. You get 5 or 6 years in where you've been an annual team of consequence in the NCAA tournament. God forbid you happen to go on another Sweet 16. Say you go on a Sweet 16 run this year. Now you've gone Elite 8 and Sweet 16. The following year, you go back to the tournament. You win a game, just a game, anything. And then you go back and do it again, maybe make another run to the Sweet 16. That changes the way you're viewed. At that point, they would talk about you, maybe not the way that they talk, certainly about Virginia, North Carolina, or Duke, but you might be talked about in the same vein these days as they talk about a Louisville or they talk about a Syracuse. And,
Right, exactly. And here's where I would agree with the experts and what they're getting at, but they're not on balance. If you look at the top 20 and say which team in the top 20 is most vulnerable to losing in the first game, we're at near the top of the list.
We would have to be.
We're top 3 in that list, maybe, even though we could be 12 or 13 in this week's poll. I'm like, man, when we go bad, we are, a special kind of vulnerable with what happens to us on offense. So I understand that point. But, at some point you hear other broadcasts, like, for example, I've been watching a fair amount of Florida basketball for the last month. And it's an apology tour for the Gators at every turn. All the broadcasters do is talk about all these things that they're fighting through. And it's like, dude, the list isn't even it's not even as close to
as
Florida
long.
State's.
Yeah, yeah.
When you're talking about, you're looking at injury lists and things you've had to overcome and poor starts.
But let's get back to the reason for that.
But it's an apology tour for them. Even this week against Kentucky, they're talking about, their effort today in Lexington.
They hung in there. I watched that game.
Is good enough that, it's going to improve their standing in terms of where they are and where the tournament and the selection committee views them.
That part of it's wrong. It will not improve their standing.
As they're getting, and that was when the game was 2 points with 6 minutes to go or 8 minutes to go, and then Kentucky goes on a run. It's like, you still believe that?
Yeah, no, well, it doesn't. You have, at this point where they are, they got to win games.
Yeah, they're 17-14.
Yeah, no, you got to win games. This isn't about moral victories. You can't get out there and play a close game against some team in the SEC. Oh, well, that was a hell of an effort. You lost at home to LSU, and even though it was in overtime, you can't then say, well, they gave it. No. You were at home against LSU. You lost the game. That's the end of the story.
Yeah,
you got to win a game at this point.
Because of 10, 15 years of history for the program, there is a resistance to saying Florida State is good, and there is a resistance to saying Florida is bad.
That's correct. And that's the narrative shift that I seek, not necessarily pointed at Florida.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Worry about us
Yeah,
first.
I worry about us. I don't worry about Florida. They did what they did. That's acknowledged. It was a run for the ages. Those 2 national championships still linger and still affect the way that analysts talk about the program. It also affects, to this day, how well they recruit, because they are still able to garner a long list of blue-chip athletes to look at their school and commit. We know they have more blue-chip players on their roster than Florida State does on its. Now, we just blew their doors off and have won whatever it is 5 straight against them, but that's okay. I get that. I understand that. And it can be aggravating, but such is life. You got to just keep winning. Got to keep doing what you're doing.
They are a very good example of the opposite side of the narrative, which is there's a resistance because you're lazy and you don't want to look at just this year. You want to fall back on a reputation instead of looking at the tape and doing your job.
Well, in Florida's case, that's especially weird because they haven't looked impressive at any stop this year. At no point have they looked impressive.
Net loves them, though.
Bracketology on the Jeff Cameron Show, which, by the way, we're fourth according to most. If the tournament started today, we'd be a 4 seed.
Yeah, and the 4th within the those seeds because we're not in Jacksonville. We're either on the West Coast or in the Northeast.
That's correct. Bracketology on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by our friends at Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
50-224-2232. 2 Men and a Truck. The movers who care.
The madness is coming to the corner pocket.
They're in trouble. Desperation. Yes!
Choose the place with Tallahassee's best TVs. The Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall. 8 50-inch crystal clear flat screens. You won't miss a second of the action. Corner Pocket's your headquarters for the most watched sporting event in America.
For the win! Good! A miracle!
Delicious food, the best drink specials. Connect to their free Wi-Fi and keep up with your bracket. From the opening tip to the cutting of the nets. Come see why Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Yes! Oh, my goodness!
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history. March 11th, 1991. 17-year-old Monica Seles becomes the youngest tennis player at the time to become #1 in the world. While that feat is impressive enough on its own, it became even more spectacular in that she ended Steffi Graf's streak of 186 weeks as tennis's top female. Seles would end up holding the #1 spot for 178 weeks in her career.
Live life. Head on. Take every shot. And when it comes to tax season, go for the win with Liberty Tax. Because while you do life, we do taxes. Bounce into a Liberty Tax by February 16th and we'll give you $50 cash for filing with us. Send in a friend and when they complete their return, we'll give you another $50. Stop by today or visit LibertyTax.com. Liberty Tax. You do life, we do taxes.
Located at 2210 North Monroe Street next to Chick-fil-A. Call 597-8248.
Seminoles, it's 2019 and a new football season is amongst us. It's a new day, and we have an opportunity to build this program back to where it belongs, together. Every day we get one step faster, one rep stronger. The journey to the top includes you. We are one tribe together, and we remain unconquered. We need you in Doak Campbell Stadium this fall, and that begins by getting season tickets now. Visit us online at Seminoles.com or call 1-888-FSU-NOLE and get ready to hear
Touchdown, Florida State!
Very soon.
Okay, that ought to do it. Thanks, Jessica, for coming over and helping me declutter my home.
You're welcome. That's what friends are for. Ooh, check it out. I found some loose change in this corner.
That is the second time you have found some hidden treasures in my house.
Do you know you can find savings in every corner of your home?
Okay, I'm listening.
You can find savings from the city of Tallahassee. With their 5% interest financing for more than 25 energy-efficient appliances, measures, and systems, you can get a loan for things like outdoor lighting, floor, ceiling, and wall insulation, Energy Star reflective roofing, and even things like gas ranges, fire logs, and grills.
Wait, even on grills? I've been shopping around for a new gas grill. I had no idea, and with it getting even darker, I could use some outdoor lighting. It seems the City of Tallahassee's loan program may be the perfect solution.
Well, just be sure and invite me over the next time you grill.
Of course, that's what friends are for.
Take advantage of the City of Tallahassee's loan program and save energy, water, and money. Visit talgov.com to learn more. That's talgov.com for more information.
Napa know-how. Chase Elliott here, letting you know that when you spend $25 at Napa this month, you get a free Chase Elliott racing hat. Need a set of brakes? How about a new battery? Both are hat-worthy. Replacing an air filter, then adding on wiper blades and headlamps just to break $25? That works too. Go get your free Chase Elliott hat today. Quality parts, helpful people, free hats. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 3/31/19.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and only can be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. Going on right now during Jeep Freedom Days. Only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. ST18J605 must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Yeah, man, you are correct, Brent. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. I think I misspoke. But let me clarify so that a bunch of you don't get in the car. Not that you would.
That's like 2 hours one way, 2 hours the other,
right? The game's in Gainesville. Florida State, Florida in Gainesville tomorrow. I believe I said earlier in the hour or late last hour that we were in Jacksonville.
It's just if you're going to make the right turn on 75, you got to put some perfume under your nose
before
you get out of the car.
Get out of the car there. Oh, man. I do have a soft spot in my heart, though, for walking into that stadium for Florida State, Florida. That's the famed Brett Groves Grand Slam game that I did color for with Lee Bowen. And I can still remember the anguish on Florida fans' faces as it was hit about 4:40. And then I also can remember my buddy Matt Britton wearing a baseball foul ball from batting practice that same day. So
It's nothing like wearing a baseball off the flesh, man. That's
the sound it makes when you're close to the person whho wears it too is just whoo.
He felt that.
Oh, that as it's coming in. Oh no! Please don't let that hit anybody in the face. Oh, I just love that in the shoulder.
Slapping a T-bone on the counter.
You just I don't know. I mean, it can't. It's funny with baseball because you win 9, 8, and 10, dramatic fashion, lose 6-0, first game of a doubleheader, then you win 5-2 and secure that 2000th victory for Coach Martin. And immediately your thoughts turn to this game at McKeithen Stadium in Gainesville tomorrow night at 6:30. And yet still the sport is the sport. It's a one-game whatever. But when it's part of a bigger narrative and you've struggled to get a win against this team, if they lose it, people are immediately going to fall back on the 13-1, huh?
Well, I think even though it's baseball and baseball is funny, I think we can both agree.
Oh, it is time to win a damn game. Yes.
This game means more to Florida State. It does. If we would get the win, it would mean more to us. It would mean a lot more to us.
Maybe as fans, certainly. I don't want our players to go into it thinking that, though, and that is part of a problem when you're on the wrong end of a streak is you can put way too much importance. We both have watched our pro teams do this even in a 162-game regular season. I mean, the Nationals owned you in an uncomfortable way for a very long time. I think they'd won 24 of 26 or something dumb that doesn't happen in baseball. And, I don't know to what extent the Mets put pressure on themselves to get past that. They have gotten past it. It changed everything. But I remember the Pirates had a stretch against the Brewers where we lost 13. I remember I came in here and said, oh, it's ridiculous. We can't beat the Brewers. We had lost 13-14. And you'd start to see them play differently.
Oh, sure. Well, we had them, man. This is one of the most famous regular season series ever because mathematically it ties all kinds of records.
Yeah.
We give up 2 runs in a weekend series. Just 2 runs. We lost the series 2-1. Tell me how that's possible.
Yeah,
that's right. Yep. There's only one way.
Couple of 1-0s.
That's right.
Get you some of that.
After beating them like 6-0 on Friday night.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I remember it. I remember your anger.
Well, think about Miami football, right? And the complex they had with Florida State for so many years, putting it on the pedestal.
So many, yeah.
And then what would happen to them afterwards? Even actually after victory, it happened most of your last year. But, man, you could tell it mattered a lot to them. And so they were just devastated when it didn't happen again.
And again, and again, and again. Oh, but now that's the problem. It's flipped. It's 2 straight. Not 7, but 2 straight. And we're having to buck up, soldier. Too painful.
Right. You're kind of looking around like, well, we were up 20. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, that one. And for a nothing season where you don't go to a bowl, it shouldn't still eat at me a little bit, but admittedly it does. I mean, because, of course, I was there watching it all transpire and going, here we go. Got to walk through this parking lot. All these criminals. And just watch how this goes down. I kept thinking, please, I don't want to have to hit somebody. And then but luckily, we were good.
Did it ever get close?
No. No. I think Matt had too long a stare at a guy, but as they exchanged some words, let's go. We're all grown-ups here.
It stayed at yellow alert, never got to red alert.
No, there's beer at the car. We planned properly.
Isn't that a wonderful phrase? That's a beautiful
It's
phrase.
a tailgate. You got a lot of people with you. So
for a tailgate, of course, not for
Sure. So here's the deal. If you do a tailgate right, like a big one where you're going to be waiting for some time to get the hell and in that stadium, you'll know when you go with me some point. You can't get the hell out. You're stuck. You got nowhere to go. You might as well sit there. So you do it right. You got the grill. You got plenty of food in the cooler waiting on you for when you come back. Get you a TV set up. You're all good. You watch the late games. You chill out. You make it like a backyard party. It's okay. You got your designated driver, and you're good to go.
No, there's beer at the car.
It's a wonderful thing.
That's comforting.
As you're walking out of a disappointing loss, it's just sort of, hey, man, there's beer at the car. We'll be all right.
There sure is.
There is. Ice cold, too. I put it on the ice. We're good when we get there. You're going to see it. It's just glistening. There's lots of them. A wide variety.
How excited are you for Jacksonville? Not for the Florida State-Florida game upcoming on March the 26th.
Oh,
but,
you're talking about the
for Boise.
Boise?
Yeah. You circled the calendar, did you?
I just know what an important game it is, and I know I'll be nervous and I think our fan base is already nervous this far out. I really do. I think we're sitting here on March the 11th thinking
Feels
about
like we have a
that
lot to
game.
lose.
There is a lot to lose, and I guess I won't say a lot to gain, but a lot to be avoided. I mean, if you lose that game, I don't even like to think about it. You're just in trouble. How many people you think show up to the home opener if we lose to Boise State?
Well, how many kids are they letting in for free?
The entire city's worth.
Then about 60,000.
I mean, good Lord, you would really – they got to win that game. We haven't had too many games like that. You know, I understand the Alabama game was big, but I told you on the air that I didn't think we could win that game. We could have won that game, but, you know, I didn't think we would. So I went in with no expectations, and I also knew that losing it didn't hurt you. As long as you didn't get beat 58-0 or something, you know, it wasn't going to really affect you. If anything, it'd be seen as a feather in your cap. Of course, I didn't know we were going to lose our starting quarterback for the year and, you know, a bunch of other things that it was the beginning of the end for Jimbo. But I couldn't have known all that. I just knew that it wouldn't really matter that much. Even to some extent, the Ole Miss game over in Orlando, it felt important, but it didn't feel like the be-all, end-all of openers. This does. This does because I think this guy's ability to get it turned around and get people believing and a team to gain confidence and have a chance to go then, whatever it is in a couple of weeks, to go on the road against Virginia and win that game, that's all about whether or not you get it done at home against Boise. I mean, well, might as well be at home. In Jacksonville against Boise.
They'd rather it be at home there because they could probably make a couple more bucks off of sales. But to me, that game is much like Notre Dame, the home Monday night basketball game we just had a couple weeks ago. I don't care how you do it, just do it. I don't care how.
Just win the game?
It could be like Florida State, Miami, Monday night, 2005, 2006. Remember how ugly those games were?
Yeah.
But I don't care how you do it, just find a way.
Just get it done, yeah.
So if it's 17-16 and we have 3 turnovers and we punt the ball 6 times, I don't care. Just get through it, please.
TIAA Bank Field, Jacksonville, Florida, August the 31st. Boise State comes to town.
Nick Foles will be on the marquee as you walk into the stadium.
Noles win big, 38-16. Boise, back to Idaho they go. Complaints of the heat on their lips. Florida State comes home on the 7th of September at beautiful Doak Campbell Stadium, stomps ULM 45-3. And then you and me, it's off to Scott Stadium for Here Comes Virginia in the blinding beauty of Charlottesville, Virginia, where we visit my nephew at his law school there at UVA, but he'll wear the garnet and gold proudly as we enter the stadium.
Will he?
Oh, yeah. He's an O. And we sit down and we watch that game, and the season has turned in the right direction.
Would you rather kick off at 3 p.m. against Boise because of the benefits to the chances to win?
Yeah, I want it to be hot as Hades.
Or 7 p.m. for your own comfort.
No, I want it to be hotter than Hades. I do. I want to go there and be like, this is wrong. I mean, this is even bad for Florida. These poor bastards. Yeah, that's
this is dangerous.
Yeah, I'm like, these guys could die on the field, meaning Boise. We've got basketball on the air tonight.
We do. We've
got
here
on these airwaves.
It's championship week. Southern Conference coverage begins.
No Etsu.
6:45. Wofford is in that game. I think it's UNC Greensboro. And then we have the MAC championship, MAAC. So that means Iona takes the court.
I'll be watching. What time do they start?
9 o'clock. So we'll
we
join
got
that
both
one in
games
progress.
Right here.
It's a doubleheader.
All right. Keep it tuned right here. Good times. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Tell the man somebody had